Disclaimer: the following Boundless PodTrap episode contains strong opinions that some listeners may and will find offensive. If you cannot accept or respect others with a differing opinion from yours, then fuck off.
Rolling sound.
I like turtles.
Shush!
Alrighty. Let me see your war face.
Now, y'all ain't planning on fucking these chickens, are you?
Picture it. Sicily, 1920.
Aren't we fucking funny?
Streaming from the Midwest, right in the middle of the U.S. From Omaha, Nebraska, you're listening to the Boundless PodTrap, your entertainment podcast where we touch on all topics, from the crazy and absurd to the sacred and profane, and even the useless and unnecessary. The Boundless PodTrap knows no bounds. And now, here are your hosts.
Happy 25th episode of the Boundless PodTrap. I am Jeremy, and I am here, as always, with Lonnie and Justin.
Good morning.
We're almost a year old, fellas.
We are pretty much a year old. That's crazy to think. 25 episodes doesn't seem like a lot, but that is a lot.
Yeah. If you take all the times Justin fucked up, it's
not that many times.
Well over a year.
Not that many times.
Well
the
over
last
a year
episode, and this one too. Congratulations, you're two
for two.
2 for 2 with not fucking up the intro.
But you guys are saying that, but I fixed every single fuck up in the...
Yeah, the listeners
So nobody knows.
But we're going to call you out on it because that's what the listeners like, is when we make fun of you, which is easy to do.
But he can cut this too, so.
I could do that. Oh, shit, there's music going on, so I might have to...
Oh, yeah. So yeah, episode 25.
Yeah.
About a year old now, pretty much. We're just going to say we're a year old.
Okay.
Why not? 25 is
yeah, because we recorded a 0 episode, so technically it would be a year.
Yeah, and we still are going strong.
And I've only shit my pants once on air.
What? Gross. I shit my pants.
You tell them purposely, or?
No, definitely not on purpose.
So we actually did, for our 25th episode, year anniversary here, Lonnie set something up for us that we're going to talk about here real quickly that we did this past, well, it would have been
a couple days ago.
Yeah. Well, no, like a week ago.
It was Sunday.
Yeah. It's we're trying to act like we are recording this live
in the
on
future.
This day that you're listening to this when this drops. This is like 4 days beforehand. So this previous Sunday, this is Thursday right now, Lonnie set up to where we spent 4 hours at the squirrel cage in Council Bluffs, Iowa. That's a haunted prison. We had some fun there. We had some experiences.
Yeah, we really did. And those of you who don't know what the Squirrel Cage Jail is, it's a Potawatomi County historic building that used to be a revolutionary jail, which the cells were stacked on top of each other and it would rotate to let people in and out. When we went in, we thought was supposedly haunted. And we can't say if it is or it isn't. We went in, we scared the shit out of ourselves. We had a great time. We got some stuff on camera that we'll be sharing soon.
Some of it's already up. Our Facebook Live is one of the biggest things that we...
Well, shit got real, so we had to go live. And
we're
like,
It was quite the experience. You know, some of the things I'm chalking up to how I even said in one of the on camera that when you're in places like that and you're expecting things to be haunted, your senses are on high alert. So every little thing you hear, like, that was a ghost. What was that?
What was that?
Right. It's like, no, that was Justin farting. Which was a true story. He farted the first 5 minutes that we were on our own.
I tried to go to the isolation area.
He farted in.
And I'm like, don't go over there. And it smells like somebody died over there. But technically, somebody did die over there. That's one of the spots that somebody broke their neck.
Yeah, but you also forgot that we're in like a circular thing that's not much room. So your fart basically takes over the whole thing.
You're welcome for that.
That was bad, though.
It was a very rich brand of protein, though.
God, shut up. It's not the bacon. You're like, it was a pound of bacon I had. Who the fuck eats a pound of bacon?
That's what happens when you eat.
I have birthday cake Sunday. I have birthday cake every Sunday since I was born on a Sunday. So I just celebrate weekly. And then the bacon helped.
That's the one thing we're taking away from this ghost hunt thing is your fart.
Dude.
That's what we're talking the most about.
Giving something to
that
you.
Village Inn, though, before we went probably didn't help.
I don't like Village Inn, but I would just like,
let alone
freaking Wendy's was closed.
Wendy's was not closed. You just didn't want to eat in the car.
Yeah, because I have a new car, and I'm not
Oh,
going to
listen
have...
to me,
look at this
Mr.
guy.
Humble
I'm not
Brag.
gonna have
Look at
I
this.
got a new car. Fuck, mate. You do have a new car. It's a very nice car, by the way.
And Wendy's, which is greasy shit. I ain't having that all.
Yeah, but instead we had to deal with his greasy shit chasing us around all night. It's like the worst level of Luigi's Mansion ever.
Our waitress at Village Inn was apparently having like a stroke at one point.
Oh, yeah.
What did she say? She was like in the middle of taking out
She's
order.
like,
She
"Oh, my
started
God."
like,
Oh
she's
my
like,
God.
and then like put her like foot up on her leg, and I'm like, is she gonna pass out?
You know,
She's been on her feet all day.
we so many people around to say, "Oh my God!" I just thought we were being too much of dickheads to even realize she was in peril.
I don't know. It was just the fact that I ate at Village Inn, and it was a Village Inn on Broadway Street in Council Bluffs. I don't know what I was thinking.
I mean,
I survived so
yeah.
far.
Well, we had that,
and
or
that was
the-
the second scariest thing we did. That
No,
night.
that was the first thing.
What was the Chinese restaurant like?
Oh, China buffet.
Yeah, they had
Yeah, the
like
Chinese-
Would you say
110 health code violations in that place.
we should have tried it?
It would have been yeah. Well, we could do that for episode 30,
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe. But all in all, the night
Jeremy's
was
stomach is. He's gone.
yeah. But all in all, the night was pretty fun. We
was.
let ourselves be scared, but we did catch some stuff we can't explain. Like we logically thought through a lot of the things that happened, but there was a bunch of shit that we just could not do.
Well, and I physically felt something too.
Yeah.
Like that one, when we split up, we went 2 and 2, Lonnie and I went together, and we were in the upstairs, which was supposed to be the most activity.
It's like a finger, in his butt.
Yeah. No, Lonnie heard some whispering, and then I heard it, which I sometimes think, like, if you wouldn't have told me that you heard whispering, would I have heard it?
Maybe.
But
Is that
he went into one of the bedrooms, and right when he walked in the room, it felt like a finger went right up into my armpit, like it was trying to lift me up in the air. And then once he came out, it stopped. And I had him go back in to see if it happened again. It didn't. So I don't know how to explain that. Maybe I was having a stroke. I don't know.
Stroke, yeah.
But
Left side.
that's really
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been the left side.
That place also had the world's largest glory hole I'd ever seen. It was about probably 4.5 feet off the ground. So
You have to keep in mind that the floor on the other side of the wall was not the same.
yeah,
So
that's scary. Handstand glory holes.
But yeah, no, that really makes me. I think we should start going to like haunted places like
Yeah,
that more
absolutely.
often. That was fun. Be a little bit more prepared with the cameras, the video cameras. I think that's the thing about this is
I
we're
blame
gonna
the person we got the cameras from. So
we're gonna release video eventually, just like a highlight package. Not that there's much to it, but there's probably more entertainment on the Facebook Live if you go to the Boundless PodTrap Facebook page.
Right.
But yeah, we'll have to be a little bit more prepared with better equipment. And yeah, so
empty stomachs.
And
So-
we did take a special guest with us too.
we did.
You guys will have to watch to see who that guest is when it comes out.
We'll give you a hint. It's the star of the first Shorty Films movie that's going to be coming out here.
We still don't have a date on it yet.
No, but it's getting closer because the composer just contacted me today.
Nice.
Excitement.
Talk to me. Touch base with me. Off air.
Off camera.
Off camera. Air.
But
yeah.
saying that though, we do have a very special guest in
We
studio
do, and
tonight.
it has to do with well, he's a friend of mine first. I've known him for
Wow.
what?
Wow.
So he can't be our friends now?
I think we discovered this, like, it's been 23 years since I've known this guy.
Sorry.
He's one of the stars of the movie I did a few years ago, Unemployed. He was here on our other podcast a few weeks ago, and we said we wanted to have him on this one so we could talk more everything besides just movie.
Plus, he's kind of cute. So.
He never left.
I just stood outside the window until you let me in for another one. So.
I'm sorry. But we got Jon Marshall here. John.
Hey, John.
You just got back from Colorado. You checked something off your bucket list.
Yeah, for my birthday this weekend, we went to Colorado.
Oh, happy birthday. I meant to text you on Sunday, but
Thanks,
I had to work all day. It sucked.
No, I get that. I got nothing but work coming up this weekend. But yeah, it was a good time. We did some Denver. We did some Fort Collins. We did some Estes Park. So a little bit of everything in a couple of days. So.
Did you see John Denver?
I did not.
Aw.
But I did see a lot of people that were very Rocky Mountain High.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I don't know what it is up there, but they grow the stupidest mustaches in Denver.
I
literally
it's
want
the
to
drugs.
punch some people.
It's the legalization out there. Yeah, I remember when I went out there about 5 years ago to record some stuff with Vince Russo. and we stayed at a hotel. Man, like people just outside the hotel just smoking marijuana like cigarettes, and I had to get new pillowcase because it just reeked of it. And
we had a guy who was he smoked all the pots, all of them.
I think I probably know which one.
No.
Oh, no?
Our friend Ryan.
Oh.
No, Shane was actually very behaved.
I wasn't.
Brian?
Yes.
Brian did a decent amount of those. He was always in the backseat with Ryan, so who knows?
Oh.
But it was honestly, I was telling them, it's honestly kind of impressive how much pot he smoked. Like, no human should actually have had that much pot in his system. But here we are.
How much would you say went into that, price-wise?
Price-wise?
Yeah.
He spent over $800 on
Gone in a weekend?
Whoa.
And we only went to 3 dispensaries.
Jeez.
And how much was that? Like 800, like what would you guess was the...
I don't know. He hit his limit every day, and I think his limit was like, I remember what they said the limit was, like 7 grams or something like that. So he had, a lot of weed.
And it's probably gone. You got back. When did you get back yesterday?
Got back yesterday, last night. No, he still had a whole...
That's what you think.
Yeah. It was...
Well, happy late birthday.
Thank you.
Well,
whose birthday is, whose birthday it is today, who he kind of reminds me of?
Eminem?
No. Well, it's
Which, by the way, I heard that little side comment a couple episodes ago. You son of a...
Today's Cher's birthday.
You're not wrong.
But he doesn't remind me of Cher. And Busta Rhymes, but he always reminded me of like Road Dogg. It's Road Dogg's birthday today.
What?
Yeah, I can see that.
Road Dogg?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, you didn't know?
Well, that kind of, so we'll tie it together. So since this is our 25th episode and our year anniversary, and John's birthday was this past weekend, since most of us don't drink here, I got us something a little non-alcoholic to toast. So give me a second. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
This is gay.
Wait, why is his pants coming down?
Well, since we're kind of on that, we've mentioned wrestling a couple times here.
I also do that with Jeremy, by the way.
Yeah. On kind of a shitty, sad note, I don't know if you guys feel the same way I do about garbage wrestling. We lost New Jack.
Yeah, I know. That was
kind of sad and kind of sudden. I mean, he was granted in his 50s, but he was still active.
Is this keto?
It's also not exactly a nice human being.
Well, yeah, I mean...
I've always thought that, but then, like, I know Paul Heyman... They wanted him to say a few words, and I watched that, and that was pretty tugged at your heart a little bit.
New Jack.
You have to respect him a little bit for kind of being one of the guys in ECW who pushed the boundaries a little bit to get garbage wrestling where it was. And as someone who is a fan of garbage wrestling, I can respect him as a performer. As a person, he's fucking garbage.
Agreed.
Tried killing 2 people?
Yeah, but as a...
He tried to do that in the ring, too.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to do that.
As a performer, though... When he was making his way through Deep South, he opened some doors to a whole completely different subgenre of wrestling that I think without him, I don't think eyes would have necessarily got to the Japanese product that gave us that hardcore style of wrestling, that death match that people like me love today. So I think he's a great gatekeeper for some people.
Yeah.
But a terrible human being.
Oh, absolutely.
When I think New Jack, the first thing I think of is his screwed up forehead. Like how disgusting.
Blade for days.
Cheese grater.
I mean, I feel like that thing had
I think
to
he
be
actually did do a cheese grater at one
probably.
point.
Okay, so I got the fellas here some genuine Hank's Gourmet Philadelphia recipe root beer.
Which I'm going to in August, October now.
So we
300 calories.
Let's twist off our caps. And we'll try to toast not over the soundboard, but over
my
here.
Fingers.
So here's to John's birthday and our 25th episode. Chink.
Oh, it's spilling on the soundboard.
I've never had Hank's.
So, yeah.
Ooh. Whoa. It's smooth.
I gave up soda in July of 2019, so I can count on my hands the amount of times I've actually had a soda since then. So almost 2 years.
Yeah, good job, bud. Make him.
No, it's completely
goes down well with.
I had one last Friday because I went to the theater for the first time in
nice.
forever. I saw Saw.
How was that?
Oh. Oh, are you talking Spiral?
Yep.
Or?
Yes, Spiral, the book of Saw. So I don't think that Chris Rock is a good actor.
No.
What gave it away?
The only thing he was good in was Lethal
anyone
Weapon
else
4.
in that movie, for that matter.
Is
the
it like
plot
Wasn't
the
he
plot in theory makes it's great. It makes sense. The execution is terrible, and the twist I predicted in the first 10 minutes. So
is it a prequel or a sequel?
No,
or?
it's almost like a spin-off because they talk about the lore of John Kramer and stuff like that, and there's like a photo of him when they're like trying to do stuff. But
isn't Chris Rock supposed to be Danny Glover's son?
No, he's Samuel L. Jackson is his dad in the movie.
Dude, he was awesome in New Jack City.
See,
whoa!
The only thing,
bringing it full
the only
circle.
movie I like Chris Rock in was Lethal Weapon 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that
which is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life.
Fits to his loudness that he is.
And he was trying to be serious this whole time because like his people around him are dying and his dad's missing and stuff like that, and he's just like, I could not take him seriously at all.
See, that's why I'm not a fan of comedic actors and actresses trying to be serious when they're known for being a comedian.
Right. It's when fucking Jim Carrey did it in like the number 23,
right?
Or even Sunshine for
I
the
feel like that movie
Spotless Mind.
gets brought up in almost every podcast we do.
I know. 23 times.
20, yeah.
We missed it in the first 2.
But I loved him in the number 23, and I loved him in Sunshine for the Spotless Mind. Like, he just has that way. I think he transitions really well.
It's kind of weird to bring up
half of that.
Jim Carrey because I was just talking to somebody
Fair
at work
enough.
today about how I think The Cable Guy is probably one of the funniest. It's the funniest Jim Carrey movie.
100%.
And it's probably yeah, such a good movie. I need to watch that. So
Cable Guy.
Jerk off.
You guys used to say that all the time.
I used to. I still do.
Maybe I
got a text today with him saying it.
It was a reface. So, all right. So, with John being our special host, he gets to pick the majority of our topics tonight. So, he picked 2 topics that we're going to do first. And then our main topic tonight is we're going to talk about the movie Unemployed, go a little bit, tell some stories that we remember.
Pulled it straight off the wall.
Lonnie can, since unfortunately we didn't know Lonnie at the time, if he has questions about things, he has seen the movie. But I do think that before we get started, I think we had mentioned this on the BPT movie review podcast, a story about one of the first couple days that we lived together, John.
I love this. God, I knew.
I made a mention that this was probably my favorite memory of his.
All right. So
take it away.
Boys and girls, sit down, get cozy. So
not as cozy as I was.
So and this might be my sister Stacy's first time hearing this.
Hi, Stacy.
You're welcome.
So
miss you.
The house I grew up in.
I'm mad at Stacy anyway. She didn't watch us live at the haunted house. I don't care if it was a school night.
She's probably asleep.
Her wedding?
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, so John moved into the house with me that I grew up in because my mom had moved out and moved in with a guy she had known. So it was, I don't even know how many nights you had been there. It had to have been like the first 2 or 3 nights. John had his room and I had my room. And I went down, we had like the storage room in the back that had like all my childhood memories in it, board games and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go down there and look at some of the stuff because now John's here. We can play some of these games. So I'd find a board game. I'd go to his room. I'd knock. He'd be like, come on. I'd open the door and I'd be like, dude, I found Battleship, like the original Battleship. He's like, cool, let's play that later. Go away for about 5 minutes, find another one. I'm going to knock again. Come in. Dude, I found Aggravation. Have you ever played this game? It's fun. He's like, no. Did that a few times. So then I found my baseball glove and baseball. And
baseball's key to this.
Yeah, baseball is key to this. I had a baseball glove, mitt on, and a baseball in the mitt. At this point, I figured I had knocked so many times, and I've been coming in here about every 5 minutes, every 3 minutes, so I don't need to knock anymore. So I open the door. All I see is John's, and I'm not saying big screen TV, but it was probably like a 42-inch TV or something like that, with a porno on it, and John sitting in front of it in a folding chair with his dick in his hand, and I was
is going through the little folding part of the.
His ass was going through that. Okay, this is where the
does in that movie.
This is where the baseball comes into thing. I have a baseball, but my intention was to go in there and be like, "Hey, you want to play catch later on?" I was so thrown off by what was in front of me right now that I said, "Hey, man, you want to play darts later?"
It was more like, "You want to play darts?"
And John, you can't see, but he never turned fully around to look at me. He never moved his body. He just turned his head to the side and was kind of looking at me out of the corner of his eyes. And there was about 3 to 5 seconds of just us just kind of staring at each other, but not staring at each other.
Acknowledging what's going on in the present moment.
I shut the door stood there for a second, and then I went downstairs and I busted out laughing. This fucker comes down like 10 minutes later, and he's like, he's like,
well, he busted out, but I couldn't finish busting because he.
So I was down there, and then he finally came down, and he's like, dude, if you wanted to see my dick, all you had to do was ask. And my response to him was like, did you try to finish, or did you finish? And he's like, well, I could try. So
well, yeah, you get the train going.
That's when I knew.
What Jeremy forgot to also tell you guys is he had an extensive porn collection as well.
I did. So I had a lot of people.
Why are you
He showed me those first.
Yeah.
So I had like a crate of it, and it was, the majority of it was not, it was given to me. And I can actually tell if Stacy's listening, like one of her exes gave me a large amount of those DVDs because he thought that, I'm with your sister now. I don't need all these. So he gave them to me. So a lot of it was, hand-me-downs. But yeah, it was
hand-me-down porn is still good porn.
But I just remember John was like, it was like
works all the
he
same.
He knew where the crate was full of it, the tote, and it was like
it's like Blockbuster.
Yeah,
you already filled his list up. You showed him that, and then you went Battleship. Like, let's do one thing first.
He would take like 5 of them at a time, and next week he'd bring them back and take 5 more.
Yeah.
Actually, I threw that whole tote away when I moved.
Yeah, we have the internet now.
Do you feel like the porn cheated on you or something? Like, what's
no, I just didn't want to move it in the move to like the apartment I was going to. Some trash guy was probably like,
right.
Yeah, this was like a 32-gallon tote. So
VHS tapes.
I think I watched
DVDs.
I mean, that's kind of where the whole John's porn tote and unemployed came from. Was that? So anyways, what's your first topic, John?
So
you fucking pervert.
You're the pervert that tried to look.
You wrote him as a chronic masturbator.
I'll tell you what.
One incident.
It's probably a good thing that my sister Jamie doesn't listen to this because that was her room.
That's
that
right.
you did that in.
Some of the thoughts were her too.
All right, that was our host, John. He will not be ever heard from ever again.
I've been trolling Jeremy with sayings like that for a while now.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, topic.
Stacy's pretty good looking too.
I'm glad you played that. Not the.
Anyway, I wanted to talk about a topic that I talk a lot about. I don't know why I think about it as much as I do, but it's that, proverbial question, what would you do with 3 wishes? You find a genie, we're going Aladdin rules here. Can't wish for more wishes. Can't wish for bring people back from the dead. Can't wish to fall in love. You don't like doing it. That was my terrible impression. But anyway.
I thought that was your Lonnie impression.
It is my Lonnie impression.
Wow. It's going to be one of those nights. All right.
So yeah, what desires do you guys have? Are you selfish? Are you, giving? Like, kind of depends on what your wishes. Are you a little bit of each, kind of thing?
It's kind of weird. Like, the things you're saying are just with what I wrote down here.
Let's start off with you then.
So I said the easiest thing to do is to wish for unlimited wishes, but that wouldn't make this any fun.
Right.
So my first one that I have, and I'm just going to read this verbatim. The most selfish wish would be to have perfect health because with all my health problems, it sometimes affects things I want to do that helps others. So I would wish for perfect health for me just because there really are so many things that I want to do
with you, yeah.
And I can't because, some days my health just kicks my ass and it affects my mood sometimes. So if I was healthy, I mean, the amount of movies that I'd put out there, the amount of things that I would do on top of all the things I do already, and things would get done a lot quicker too. And I think that some people don't realize that too. Sometimes it takes me longer with things, mostly because I don't want to settle for garbage, but a lot of it has to do too with like health issues. And so that's why it takes a little bit more time. So that's my first wish. Did you have something?
I could see that, like that time you and Amanda went to Worlds of Fun. And
yeah.
Like, there was just certain things you couldn't ride. Like you couldn't do bumper cars. You couldn't do a couple other things, so.
It affects my living too.
Right. And so when I almost knew that was going to be one of your wishes. So I'm glad that it's on there. I feel like I know you.
You do.
Connecting.
All right.
You two, I don't fucking have a clue.
That's for the best.
So for my second wish, I would want to be able to see what people are thinking. And I think that this would make decisions easier because it's like if I wanted to approach you, John, about something that I didn't know how you'd feel about it, and if I said it and it just rubbed you the wrong way, then it starts like some kind of friction between us or an argument. If I see how you feel about something, then it's like, okay, I could approach him about this. I think it would make your decisions on things with other people a lot easier if you can see what they're thinking. Now, I'm sure there's some.
There's subtle hints and stuff that they give.
There's some.
Just read his body language.
There's downsides to it because I might be looking across the table at Justin, who I think likes me, and it's like, oh, that fucker's planning on killing me tonight.
Why would I do that? I'm gonna murder your ass.
Plus, I don't want to see what all the women say about me because it's all bad. So, or think about me.
To kind of like get into that, do you want it to be at all times? Like,
can you turn it
what
off?
Women
like Mel
want?
Gibson?
Like, can you turn it off? One of my wishes, I'll throw one of mine out there, was to see 2 minutes into the future by pulling my ear. So like if I'm at the casino or something, I would love to gamble. I would literally, if I could do that, I would just gamble my whole life. Like that would just be fun. I don't saying that's like a final wish. That's just something I think about. But like, could you pull your ear to hear somebody's thoughts? Is that what it?
See, I would want to turn it off. I wouldn't want it to be constant because that would get annoying, like Mel Gibson and what women want.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think that would be interesting because you would be able to probably. I think I could help solve cases too. Like if something's like for instance, there's like this is probably a bad example right now going on. There is this autistic boy that's been missing for a few days in where we grew up, La Vista.
Right where we grew up.
He left school, which is the school I went to, which is weird, La Vista West Elementary. He's been missing. Police found on his computer Google search he was looking for ways to hide and all this stuff, and it's really crazy. But like you could probably talking to other people around if you see what they're thinking. Maybe they're holding out on something, and I mean it could be like a murder case too. Is what it would be a better thing to like
just come in,
talk to somebody.
Your Honor, he did
talk to a suspect.
And it's just like this fucker. I already know you're guilty. Right. So that would be my second wish. And my third wish is kind of, it might sound like Miss America here, but I would wish for all the ignorant hate in the world to go away. I think the world needs to have hate in it because I think people become bigger from that and learn from it. But when I say ignorant, I'm talking about the racism and a lot of the shit that goes on nowadays, with the BLM and all that stuff. Like there's causes out there and there's ways to go about it, but this day and age with the social media and everything like that, it makes people a lot more ignorant and, they tear people down and for no reason, just because they have a differing view than you do. So I would want all the ignorant hate to be gone in this world.
Especially on the social media too, because you don't have to deal with the consequences of what you say to somebody.
And most of it's just for attention and not for the cause anyway.
Exactly. That's also true.
And I mean, and that's I'm guilt. Like I don't think I've ever been like really ignorant with things, but it's just like I've been negative and I've held back lately. Like if you notice people on my Facebook that are friends with me, I don't vent as much. I don't really post as much as I do because it's like I'm trying to be a better person when it comes to that way. Just because I know I feel this way about something and somebody else doesn't. And a lot of times I don't throw it on other people's faces, but it's just like they throw it in my face because I may have this opinion on it and it differs from them. And it's like, dude, we can have differing opinions. It's like
some people like when you say something, like if you just say something on your Facebook, they feel like they're being targeted. It's like, first of all,
most of it's a projection anyways. Yeah.
It starts with that. Like, I don't know. I also hate people apologizing for somebody else. Like, oh, hey, or being offended. Hey, you shouldn't say it. That person's going to get offended. That person's like, no, I'm not. Stop being offended for me.
Exactly.
That builds the cause even, or I don't know if I want to say the cause, but the negativity around it even tenfold.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not helping them at all. Like they're fine. They're content with how they are, I guess.
Yeah. So everybody stop being offended for other people.
Yes.
That's fucked up.
You can't say that. I want to apologize for everybody
that?
I'm afraid to hear Lonnie's wishes.
Why?
Because of the type of person you are.
Wow. Wow. I want to get all hate to go
I've been on
away.
both nice
guys. That's why I said that.
Shows. This one's pretty fucking hostile.
Jesus.
You guys didn't even hear what they were talking about before we went on air.
Would you put in this?
Yeah.
Where are you making us drink?
This is making me burp like crazy.
Tom Hanks juice. It's actually better after eating one of these donut holes.
Gonna get a Hanks.
I will shout out to Hank's Gourmet Root Beer because they do have a cherry one.
I was going to get the really different ones, but I figured we'd all get the same one. I haven't had a root beer in a while. I haven't had like a soda and I guess I had
a cream soda.
More of a
anyways,
a cream pop myself.
Get a Hank's root beer to the fucking face.
I wish for root beer right now. Done.
There it is.
All right. Well, since you so graciously called me out, I'll give you my 3 wishes.
To kill Jeremy. Oh, no.
Wish
These
number,
donuts are good.
wish number 1. Okay, so mine take a little bit of explanation. So my first wish is I wish for 5 more minutes. And how that is best explained is going through your life, you never know when the end is the end. You don't know when, like, this is going to be the last time you see somebody or it's going to be the last thing you've ever said to somebody. I would love to get a notification or to get some kind of feeling where you automatically know and you just get 5 more minutes put into that.
Did you get that from that country song?
No, I actually have it tattooed on my arm. I've had it tattooed on me for years. And it's just something I abide by. Like, when you know it's going to be the end, just want 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
And because you never know when it's going to be the last time. Like, for example, my grandfather died in hospice care. I got to spend his last good time with him before he went in. And it just makes you think, well, if I had 5 more minutes with him when he was healthy, what would we do? And it's just that thing. Like, I wish everybody could get 5 more good minutes with someone they loved or in the future. Like, you don't know when the last time you love someone or someone you hate, like, especially someone you hate, it's like, fuck you. Well, how many more fuck yous can you get in 5 minutes?
I thought he was going to go a different way. Like,
I know.
forgive him or something there. Nope.
I just got to
Double
pour
fuck
more
you.
salt on the wound.
But again,
I want you to have 5 more minutes so I could take him away.
But it's just one of those things, like, just an indication that this is going to be the end or the last time. So you just get that 5 more minutes.
I like that. I think a good
It's
lesson for
very
this
sweet or
is
fucked up.
everybody should treat every day
As
and
it's-
every time they're with somebody like it's the last time they're going to be with them.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like those Buddhist sand paintings, the mandalas. They make this very intricate sand picture and then they just smear it away. They dump it away. It's only supposed to last for that moment.
Why would they do that?
Because it's a lesson of non-attachment. So you're not necessarily attached to what is going on. You just enjoy the present as it is and then move forward.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So fuck you for thinking I was going to do something mean.
You still have 2 more.
I do.
You're holding out hope there.
My number 2 wish would be being able to live like money isn't an issue. So not being rich, not being poor, not having everything you need, but just being able to live, not having to worry about where money's coming from, not having to worry where it's going, just being able to exist and be happy.
I usually do that until money's an issue.
Right, but wouldn't it be great to never have to worry about it?
So does that mean like things are free or you just have money?
It's
and
like
you just,
It's
You
not
just-
necessarily a
it's like your-
forethought. Like it's
You don't ever have to worry about it again.
you
It's like
just
your bank account just fills automatically.
you have
Well,
more
even-
priority towards your relationships or the things that you do.
And like, you don't have to worry about where money's coming from, but you're not stupid rich because I believe the people who are stupid rich are always scared that their money's going to go away. You're not worried about being poor because then you're worried about where you're going to get money from. You don't worry about being middle class because then you're worried about getting rich or being poor.
Like you've made it far enough that you have fuck you money. You can just
Right.
like, I don't need to.
Wish I had that right now. There's 4 of us who are scared to look at our credit card bill after going to Colorado.
that's the worst thing about coming back from a trip.
You at least still have your credit card on you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just
We
one of-
all forgot to call
Check
our bank,
again.
So we got
Right. So it's just one of those, like, waking up on a Monday or when you normally get your bank statement or something like that, just fucking throwing it away. Not even caring. Just know.
Can I wipe my
I do
ass
that
with it?
anyways.
Yeah. So just knowing that you just don't care about money. Money doesn't exist to you. Money doesn't rule your life. It doesn't run your life. Just being comfortable where you're at when you're at.
I like that one.
I try to I don't spend much money. Like for the last like couple months, I haven't spent money. Like I used to have like 2 or 3 Amazon packages on a porch every single day because I would just constantly buy stuff. But I'm trying to better myself.
It's like, what do you need a snake repair kit for?
You never know.
Right?
All right, let's hear number 3.
My third wish, I wish I could go back in time and make it so the Nightmare on Elm Street remake never happened.
I will high five you on that one.
We need to talk later about something about movies, but we'll get into that later. But
throw Halloween 3 in there.
He
too.
pointed his finger right in my face when he said that.
I did.
Wow.
I'm very offended by something I learned earlier.
That movie is the biggest load of fucking trash ever. Not only the fact that
so
it
much
is
that you're wasting a wish on it.
absolutely, yeah, I would waste
it.
I would waste like if one of my wishes had to be to go back in time, I would. And one would be to find the movie. I would do number 2, and 3 would be to stop it.
Do you stay in time though?
Did you say you want to do it number 2?
Ooh.
Well, I mean, I was still married at that time when it came out. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah,
That's an idea for a movie.
You can prevent
Everybody
your child.
can go back in time for something,
but they have to stay there.
but you have to stay there.
And then your firstborn is going to be a female.
I don't know
What?
because Mox is super easy to raise.
It's Justin. Don't even ask what anymore.
But no,
Did you get a
He's
contact
changing-
time for my clothes from my
He's
trip?
changing the
like I would go back.
fabric of time.
I would fucking butterfly effect the shit out of it just to stop that shit.
I
That
would.
movie, like I would probably be a happier person if that
Which
movie
one?
did the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
I don't think I saw it.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
You're a better person.
The one with
When did it come out?
the one with Rorschach. Yeah.
2000.
Jackie Earl Haley.
Was
10,
it 2009, 2010?
2010. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
it's
fucking
terrible.
garbage.
It was amazing.
Freddie
Oh,
talks. He's
that's
like,
my
he looks like. I will say
I'll
this.
recap with you next week. I'm on board.
I will give you this. The look that they have for Freddie, he looks like an actual burn victim, but
Because
it's
half
not
of his
Freddie.
fucking face is CG.
Yeah, I know, and his voice is terrible.
He's really good at having CG faces, though.
I like the poster. That's cool.
If anybody were to ever play Freddy Krueger and not be Robert Englund,
It'd be
Billy Bob Thornton.
or Johnny Depp.
Or
No, Johnny Depp.
Good
Get outta
news,
here.
guys. It's on HBO Max. I'm watching it
You
tonight.
are-
Dude, I will tell you this. That
I got 5 more minutes. I'm going to tell you, don't do it.
There's a twist in it. There's a twist in the movie that if they would have had the balls and went with that twist, I would have been okay with it. It would have made it like a 2 out of 10. But since they didn't go through with that twist, fuck it, burn in hell.
Fuck it.
Literally.
Burn in hell.
Yeah. Is your thing that you want to talk to me about the remake of It?
Yep.
Oh, fuck that. Fuck that movie. Justin's daughter, when I was over, tried to get
that's
me
what we're talking about.
to fucking watch it.
my 2-year-old was trying to get him to watch it.
It's great.
I punched him. I was like, don't you fucking put that shit on me.
Highest grossing horror movie of forever, and he still
All the
refuses to watch
times.
it.
I will never watch it.
Why?
You know, how many fucking times do I have
Because
to say
Tim Curry is Pennywise. We get it.
Yes.
We get it. 100%.
And he's not, and
we get
it's
it.
all fucking CGI.
I understand.
But you watched Freddy.
We
Wasn't
get
Robert
it.
Englund Freddy?
That's what got me on this. I watched that thinking, oh, this could be cool. And then, nope.
How do I add this?
They're two different.
Don't, John, please.
Signed in.
John, that's a new phone. Don't fill it with shit.
Oh, God. I don't know.
I'm
Please.
gonna watch it too because that's on here.
Yeah, you can eat my It.
Don't.
I don't know what
So
that
good
means.
though. It actually jump scared me.
Oh, yeah. It scares me too.
So anyway, Justin.
Justin,
so I
before
didn't
you
get
go,
the-
I think there's a sound clip for this donut hole I'm about to eat.
Eat it.
Yeah,
was
when
that
I
the
got
porno I was watching when you walked in on me.
when I got the info for this, I didn't know it was not to do the Aladdin no wishing for extra
I should
wishes
have put that in there.
because that was one of the things that I wanted to do, and like Jeremy said, it probably would be cheating, but I don't necessarily think that it would be cheating because like if you wanted to learn the lesson,
I
you
didn't
could
say
just
it was
wish.
cheating. I said it takes away the fun.
Not really, because if you want to
You
learn
could
the
just
lesson,
wish for anything.
yeah, you can just learn the lesson. It's like I wish I learned the lesson to this. All right, okay, cool, that's cool. Yeah,
I guess.
I wish I was excited about this.
You're stupid.
But I mean, like, what's better than just doing everything on God mode? A lot of people say that it might.
It's
Yeah.
not GTA.
Because then you'd have to believe in God.
Yeah,
Well,
that's yeah.
Then
don't
you're
get started on that one.
you're technically the God because you can do anything.
Fuck is this? I just
So what's your
It's
second?
really
wish?
wet hand sanitizer.
I'll
fucking
omit
guy.
that one.
He just ruins every game.
he does.
Loosely touching on Jeremy.
Ooh,
That's not loosely, my friend.
I got a tight
more
squeeze.
more of a superpower kind of going on. Oh, I guess it's also Lonnie too. But like,
Thanks for throwing me and
you're welcome.
making me feel important.
You're important to me. Look at me. You're important to me.
Just spit it out, for fuck's sake.
I'm trying. Lonnie needs.
I
need this.
He needs human
Justin would
contact.
I need this. There's going to be lots of time I'm ignored in this episode, so I need this.
So no,
I
more
don't
of a
want
superpower.
5 more minutes with Justin.
No, you're going to take
Let
over
this
his
happen.
post for this one because you're
Come
going
on.
to ask us
Why
all
can't
the
you
time.
give our
am.
love a chance?
Will you shut up?
No, I wish I had
one.
I wish I had the ability to control time, like not necessarily like stopping and starting it, but like controlling in and outside of it. So if I wanted to change something, or if like you ask me a question, and like if I'm on Jeopardy or something, it's like, what is this? And it's like I can stop it, research it,
Like Zach Morris?
boom.
Yeah.
Did he do that?
Yeah.
All right.
go, time out.
Quick, like timeout. And everybody would
oh,
freeze.
okay.
Quick
Yeah.
pause. What and do this though, but I don't want to. I'll come back to you, but.
What is happening?
There's a thing on College Humor. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's called Zach Morris's Trash.
Oh yes, yes.
It's basically they go through
And tell him
almost
how much of a
every
douchebag he is.
Saved by
Like
the Bell
certain things.
episode and talk about like how he's manipulating people and how he's doing this and this and this.
Well, yeah, he admitted he was manipulating people on that show.
And it's just like how bad of a person he is for doing exactly what he did in the episode. It's fucking fantastic.
It's
love
pretty
it.
entertaining. But yeah, so like if I would have fallen
I didn't
off
give you permission to talk
I'm
again.
just doing it.
It's still my time.
I'm taking
Okay,
my time
go.
back.
Cheers.
Time restart. for
There
me.
will not be an episode 26.
We're already on episode 26. It's been so fun.
And we're on Justin's first fucking wish.
It's like 1.5,
Sorry,
man.
I love you.
No, but
sticky.
so like if I were to jump off of something and like right before moment of impact, I can stop it, you know, and disrupting the velocity and just like step down in time, and then I'm good. So
I do like that.
Like if you guys were
I'm not
pissing me
shitting
off
on
like
it.
this, I could just stop time, put my finger in your guys' butts, and
How would
then
that be different than...
Yeah, you don't
What do
need to
you do?
stop time.
well,
I wouldn't be able to enjoy it if you stopped it. I'd
so
be
that's why I would
frozen.
stop it.
Oh,
Kind of like Click. That was
I
kinda
thought you were going to say something else.
that movie is sad.
It is sad.
I-
But yeah, and that's kind of
Fucking
the
life
downfall
went
of
by.
this. Because
Yeah.
if I would have done that, I probably would have aged faster than everybody else.
You do
Yeah,
look
do
pretty
you
rough.
age faster now?
If everybody else is frozen from time, but you're still acting within the
Yeah.
non-time, you're still aging.
That's
It's still
the
time
fine
for you.
print I would need to read on that wish.
Worth it.
Maybe. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm on board with that.
But yeah. I guess another thing I would do, firmly touching on Lonnie.
Okay, looked around the room first.
Or I guess it's also Jeremy too. They both kind of like. What did you say? The
See, you
I've
weren't
said-
even paying
I've
attention.
said a lot of things in my life, so you got to be a little bit more.
well, not being douches and stuff like that. If people,
That's never
one of my first,
I
my,
never
my
said anything about douches. I said ignorant hate.
same thing. That's what douche is. If you look douche, ignorant behavior.
Oh.
Yeah. But if people were to utilize more critical thinking
See what we
and
put
their
up with every
approaches,
fucking week.
Oh, I hear it. I listen.
I'm just
why you
kidding.
gotta break my balls?
Breaking
But-
balls.
Yeah, no, if people would have utilized critical thinking in most any approach they take, they don't just react on ignorant reactions. They're not thinking about things, and most things are of people assuming or projecting what they think of you, and they won't give you the chance to explain your position. It's like you go a lot farther, and that was one of my New Year's resolution is critical thinking, and I'm going to probably revert back to that throughout a lot of these episodes. But yeah. And my last wish would be if there was like a rule or something I can change, drivers, because drivers, man, those are what piss me off. Like if we had like spikes at red lights, if like once the red light hit, spikes come up. That way, those motherfuckers who always plowing through the red lights and making people's other people's lives in danger, it's like they just flatten
That's
their
a
tires.
wish.
And, hell yeah, hell yeah.
However, if there are spikes and they are driving over them, they will just get out of control and like crash into like a building or something.
That's what he wants.
That's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
That's
It's for the. They
So
would
wait,
have to pay
that
for
would be that would be for when it turns red. The spikes come up.
Do you know how many people blow a red light seconds after it's already turned
I
red?
don't think you need to waste a wish on this. I think you
I
just need to
do.
go to Mayor Gene Stothard and just suggest this.
Right,
and
your governor.
you
Yeah.
might be able to get it to happen.
Yeah.
But it'd have to be on. It can't be at past the intersection. It'd have to be on the once because if you
Yeah.
do it over there, people turning are that.
No, it would be like right at where they would
There's
stop.
so many flaws in this wish.
Well, yeah, I know.
Crosswalks. It'll be on the crosswalks.
And then the people have to.
This
Pedestrians.
This could be an interesting future topic that we do every so often is where one of us presents an idea and then we break down the realism
shit on it?
and of what how it would happen. Yeah, basically.
I see absolutely nothing wrong with this.
All right.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, like
I
was on board with you until that one. So
You've even disgusted John.
yeah,
Good going.
Jesus.
I at least made him feel something, right? And that's what matters.
Well, you guys are sitting next to each other.
Well,
So.
you want to feel something?
I do.
You want a pickle? I'll get you a pickle.
So John, you said one of your wishes.
Yeah, well, that's what I would talk about. So the one I always pick, number one every time, is to speak and understand every language. I feel that you can communicate with so many people that way. It would open up doors for jobs and stuff.
I feel like
too.
we're going that way already. I think emojis is going to be the universal language.
It might, honestly, that Brian.
Everybody-
Brian, we were talking about, all he does is put GIFs or
Everybody
emojis
understands
to me anymore.
emojis to an extent.
Well,
Well, is it just chocolate yogurt
What's
or
eggplant?
shit?
this guy to my left, Lonnie, I don't think he's typed anything word related in our group chat.
Not true at all.
For like the past 2 months,
False.
it's been refaces.
False, sir.
There's text in the refaces.
False. Where's my phone? There it is.
He's gonna
Let me look.
He's got to do a reface.
I said I am positive that
Okay,
it's
I
within
just
like
okay.
positive
I just
one,
saw 3 fucking refaces from you.
It's like back in April 22nd, a
Oh,
month
he
ago.
uses the reface app.
4.
You know,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
5.
yeah.
I've only like 4 refaces, and then my 5th one was
With
text.
4 refaces in the last 2 hours, you have a problem.
You're doing it while we're talking right now.
I sent one at 9:05 this morning. That was text.
He did one that kind of is going to haunt my dreams. He put his fucking face on Elvira.
That was nice.
hot.
He did
That
one-
But the
actually
one
might-
just
that
before
actually might
that
do
was
it for me.
Danny DeVito.
But the
He
thing,
did one with what was it, Giselle, the model?
Tom Brady.
I look better on my face looks better on women than men.
It does.
false.
I had to save that one.
Can we
He's got
disagree
a
on
lot
that
of-
one?
He's got a lot of bounce and shine in that hair.
Look at my tits.
Even though I was focused on Elvira's cleavage, I could still see your freaking like beard.
Just stop being weird about it and look at my tits.
We see it.
If I had a nickel.
Wow.
So what's your second wish?
Do you want a nickel?
No, I just think it would be cool to speak in even like alien
is-
languages. Like if an alien came down, they'd be like, "Oh shit, grab John. We gotta figure out what the fuck these guys want." You know what I mean? I don't know. I've always wanted to learn a bunch of different languages,
That
but I'm
would be
super
pretty-
fucking lazy about it. So
I wish that was something we were born with.
yeah,
Just knowing
are.
everything,
Oh,
every
will.
language, because that would be very helpful.
that's
It's
the
kind of-
future. Plug yourself in, download languages. Yeah, there's apps now you can just speak whatever, and it'll just translate in real time.
So it's kind of funny because there's
glasses.
this girl at my work that
I used to talk to my
speak-
ex-girlfriend on the phone. She was deaf.
Get out of here.
This is true. I mean, I would talk to somebody else translating to like a little thing that text would come up and that she would whatever and then translate back to me. I'm like, this is really hard to
Why didn't you
have
just
a
text her?
intimate because there was no text. This was back
How
in
do
the
you
mid
sext?
90s. That's what I was trying to do. I'm like, what are you
this guy is
wearing?
super uncomfortable.
He wants to know what you're wearing. Tell her.
This girl I work with, she's fluent in Spanish, and I was helping her at the balloon count, and there was these 2 Spanish ladies that wanting balloons,
See?
and they were just talking in Spanish, and the girl goes to me, she's just like, they are making fun of us right now, and they don't realize.
Oh, that happens a lot.
Yeah, she's like, obviously they don't think that either of us speak Spanish, but she's like, I'll tell you later what they're saying about it. She's like, it's pretty bad, but I never did find out, but I just thought that would be kind of a cool thing with your wish to
To know.
just play stupid.
I think we
and
should-
then say something to them back
Yeah.
in Spanish.
Yeah.
I do that. I know enough Spanish to know what somebody is saying to me. I don't really know enough to relay back, and but I had 2 guys the other day talking shit in Spanish at work, and I was like, I said something back to them. They're like, "Oh shit," like that. No.
So before you get to your last wish that you have, we have a friend, you don't know him, Paco.
Oh, we do.
We
Yeah.
no
Also
no
has the
we the 3 of us, Lonnie,
Oh.
Justin, I have a
I thought you
friend,
were talking
Paco.
about Paco.
Okay, so okay, that's what I was going to ask you. So we and you
birthday's
both
also the same as
both know a Paco. Do your impression of what Paco sounds like? Because I did it for them, and they kind of were like, no. But
Well, I mean, you have to hear Paco to understand.
just do it.
No, like I have to hear it too. Like I can imitate really well, but I
got some hot cock.
he's gay too, so
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
Jeremy says the cock line, or he just likes cock too. We pranked. Speaking of, we'll get into that in the next topic. We'll just get into it in the next topic.
Okay,
It goes along with that story. But
Was that your last wish? Was it
to go to the next topic. That's a great segue.
And my last wish is kind of like yours, but I would include everyone I love too, like perfect health for me and everyone I love.
Spikes on
I just
perfect
didn't know
health?
if
What are
like
you talking
something
about?
if that was
Spikes.
cheating to
No.
wish it for multiple people.
No, Aladdin rules.
Except that motherfucker who tripped me in gym class.
What?
Nothing.
But like,
let's edit that out.
All right.
I'm kidding.
but yeah, so I like you said, health and kind of like yours, people dying sooner than they should because of certain things, and it's just like, why can't we all just go about like this fucking pandemic we're going on right now? Like, it would just be nice to be healthy.
Well,
I don't
there's
think
just,
anybody would
there's just
complain about that.
so
you know?
many things
Be
that could take people
excellent
out
to
these
each other.
days.
Mhm.
I mean,
Spikes at a red light.
Yeah, exactly. if that ever happens, I'm gonna Justin.
No,
I
they're
will
gonna be
literally
like
scream Justin every time I see
they're
him.
gonna be like, spikes that are angled at you like 3 feet spikes, so they'll catch on and go through the floor of the
Okay.
driver.
Well, that
Holy
sounds
shit.
better.
Yeah.
God.
That way only one person gets hurt. And if there's a passenger, they should have told the person.
car repair shops.
I think Justin
loving
needs.
You're creating a job.
Justin needs help.
I thought I was the masochist of the group.
Episode 26 is going to be a fucking
not a masochist.
intervention for you, Justin.
Masochist is self-help.
Justin's in there.
You
Self-help.
you drive through so many lights.
Pull the hang.
Oh, well, green lights.
No,
Green lights.
no, sir.
I follow every
Yellow
road.
means speed up, right?
Yes.
Oh shit, hurry up.
Except for on a banana.
If
Yellow
we're-
means wait.
If
What
we're
about a
doing a video
submarine?
podcast,
Red means where the
we could
fuck
have
you
a
get that
contest
banana?
so you can throw their bottle the farthest.
I like how there were two conversations going on in this podcast. at
That's
the same
generally
time.
how.
Everybody, which topic did you listen to first, ladies and gentlemen? Because if it was the one I just had with Lonnie, I'm sorry.
Hell, I don't even know where ours went.
Well,
He's talking about bananas and white people.
What?
Exactly. I don't know what you were talking
It's talking
about.
about red lights.
what I said was, too bad we don't have the video
didn't hear
cameras
what you
yet,
said.
because then we could all practice to see who can throw out their bottle the deepest.
Hey, we can have the viewers imagine by our gag reflex.
Justin's not making any noise.
That's
and
not the
I
only
don't
thing
see the
it-
bottle.
Mine
Got it all the way down to the bottom label.
Boom.
He just
Oh, I
pulled
put
it.
mine in the wrong hole.
Where'd it go?
Wait.
Weep.
Yeah, those are interesting wishes. I don't hear those a lot. You know, people like to be invisible and fly and stupid
Clay,
shit like that.
they want a Clay Aiken that shit.
Well, I thought having a smaller cock would be too egregious.
I broke John.
Wait, I think I missed the reference.
The best part was I could see it like sinking in, like he didn't get it at first.
fucking deep cut. Like, get the fuck out of here. Clay Aiken.
The football player?
I was invisible.
Do you remember when we would drive around and you got on the radio trying to get that James Blunt song, You're Beautiful?
Yes.
And you were like, you finally got on the air and you're just like, can you play that song? It's like, my life is brilliant. Whatever.
I was like, could you play that
that
new
Muppet
James
singing.
Blunt song? You're beautiful. And they were like, yeah, go on.
Sure. Quit calling us.
Sweet 98.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Clay fucking Aiken. Get out of here.
He was the runner up, too, to Ruben Stutter. Oh,
Clay
Clay.
Aiken's like, finally, somebody played a song on Spotify.
I just got a text from him on our Boundless PodTrap page. He's our guest next week.
Yes, I'll do it.
I didn't ask you. Okay.
Please.
That got me.
Love me.
Jesus.
All right. So what's the next topic?
So the next topic is I want to talk about, because I know Jeremy and I have a lot of stories to tell, but I also want to know stuff that you guys have done as well. Was like your favorite pranks that either you've seen somebody do or that you've personally done. You can have as many as you want. I mean, obviously we got a time limit. But
Are we going to be incriminated at any
John
time?
just looked at his wrist.
Negative.
That obviously doesn't have a watch on it.
was really
people do
hoping
that?
somebody wouldn't catch that.
Damn, still not there.
It's just as bad as like when people actually look at their watch and then you ask them what time of day it is, and they have to look at it again. It's like we didn't
Well,
retain
half the
it.
time watches aren't even watches anymore.
I want to be accurate.
Justin's
watch.
looks like, I don't even know.
Play it to
watch.
on my fucking phone right
It's a
now.
navigator, Navahog.
Well, I'm going to start out with two pranks that others have done. The first one is one I think it's fucking fantastic. And I'm sure we've all seen it. We could probably leave the link in this, but the two brothers that convinced their younger sister that there was a zombie apocalypse after she got her wisdom teeth pulled and she was under sedation.
I don't think I've seen this.
Oh my God.
It's hilarious.
These two guys, like
The cat or the dog?
she's like so like out of it, and he has a fake recording play on the radio, and it's like saying about how the zombie outbreak, the dead are coming to life. And when they get home, like he even had their mom involved in it. They had stuff, her and her other brother were taking stuff out of the house, and he would like come in and he's just like, he has one of those grabber things that you squeeze the trigger and stuff like that. He's just like, I got to go inside. He's just like, if any zombies come, use this. He's like, here's the safety. He's like, I need you to do it. And she's like, what? And then he's like, the dog or the cat? We can't have both. Which one? She's like, the dog, you idiot. I fucking hate the cat. And then the one
man, I gotta look into this.
And then he's just like, funfetti or chocolate? And she's like, this is what we're going to be living on for the rest of our life. And she's like, funfetti. It's so great. Ellen had him on her show, but I think that's one of the best ones. Have you seen that one, Lonnie?
I think so, but
It's fucking, like, we'll have to watch it when we're off because I want to see
Yeah, that sounds hilarious.
But then the other one is not necessarily a specific person that's done it. It's just something that people do. And I saw it once and then I typed it in and saw a bunch of other ones. But it's when somebody goes up to somebody that's like in a deep sleep and they have like a random thing like their shoe. And like if you're sleeping down, like, John, it's the phone. And the people just wake up and they grab the shoe and they're like, hello? And it's just like some of the most random things that they get people to like, and then they realize what it is. And they're just like, you fucker. Those are my two other ones. What about you guys?
So I've got one that I love. It's a YouTube video called Farting with Attitude because I'm a little child and I love fart sounds.
Farts are great.
So basically it was a guy in Central Park who developed, it looks like a small Burger King cup with a straw, but you squeeze it and it made super authentic fart sounds. He'd keep it in his hoodie pocket. And in Central Park, people walk by and he would like jump up and flail his arms and then make fart noises. Or he'd like run by people and pirouette and make fart noises. It was just him doing stupid shit, but making super realistic fart sounds. And it's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
It's like the size of a cup? Or?
It's just, yeah, it's like half of a small soda can.
Oh,
Is it like the pooter?
Yeah, like
John, what's his name?
La Toot or whatever it is.
It's maybe, I don't know. I just always look at Farting with Attitude. And it's just little things like that. And there's like 4 or 5 of the videos, and they're funny as fuck. Like some of he'll just sit there and like count them down, and people will walk by, and it's just harmless fun.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really.
Farts are great.
Farts are always fun.
I'm not really a big fan of pranking strangers in public. It's really not my favorite thing to do.
All these that we're going to talk about.
Like, like getting your friends, that's another thing. Like, I'd fucking prank my friends all day long.
So most of the stuff that you see online nowadays are like setups. It's like,
Right.
why did this person automatically stop right here while, like recording? It's
Right.
Yeah.
But my favorite prank we ever pulled of all time is when we were pretty young. I don't even think we were driving yet. I think 14. We had a friend. I'm going to leave his name out, but we lived in a super small town growing up. 100 people, 150 people at most. It's the first time his parents ever left him alone.
What's his parents' name?
Good try.
That's pretty smooth. But his parents were, you're old enough now. We're not going to take you with us. Me and your father need a little vacation.
They wanted to have sex, didn't they?
A lot, yeah. A lot of sex.
All the sex.
As much sex as two people can have. So they're like, we're going to leave you for 2 weeks.
Damn.
So they left him a whole bunch of money. They left him the house. He wasn't old enough to drive. He just got the house, him and his sister.
Wow. That's trust.
Yeah. And we knew how much he liked to get freaked out. And he had mentioned...
Define freaked out.
Like,
scared.
Shit yourself, scared.
Freak me, baby.
And we happened to watch New Nightmare. I don't know if you guys see or remember New Nightmare. Mm-hmm. There's a scene in that movie where they're getting fan mail, and it's just letters. And he's like, man, that freaked the shit out of me. So knowing his parents were gone and he was going to be by himself with his sister, and his sister is never there. She's kind of a hoe. That's why I don't want to mention names.
Everybody knows her.
Will you give me her number after this?
Right? I
verify.
wouldn't. You have a better chance looking a trash cannon.
I don't know.
Wouldn't be my first time.
But we...
you know my ex?
We got parchment paper and kind of burned around the edges, and we just wrote a 10 on it and put it in his mailbox. And we didn't really think anything of it. The next day we did the same thing, put a 9 on it, put it in his mailbox. And we're like, hey, how you been? And he's like, oh, I'm just enjoying my summer break. Like, cool. We rode bikes, hung out. We did it every day. We kept doing it. 7, 6. He finally mentioned it at day 5. He's like, man, something fucking weird's going on. We're like, what? He's like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Tell us.
Day 4 went by, and you could tell he's not really sleeping the best. Then day 3 finally told us what was going on. We're like, man, that's so fucking weird. I'd be scared. I wouldn't go to sleep.
My God.
Just planting.
Yeah,
fucking
just
fear
putting
into his
everything.
brain, yeah.
Drinking
We're
coffee
like-
all throughout the night.
We're like, we definitely wouldn't call the cops because that'd probably piss whoever else it was.
You should drink this bottle of bleach.
Day 2 goes by. He's like, you can see he's strung out as fuck. Day 1 goes by, and then
Why is he staying in the house? Like,
it's a fucking farm kids. We don't know any better. Day 0, we put it in there.
Day 0.
Well,
Day
the
of
last day.
D-Day.
we put it in there, and we put it on his door. We taped it on his front door with a day 0, and we put today's the day, stuck it to his door.
God.
And we were sitting in the neighbor's yard, just waiting for him to get it. And he got
should
it.
have stuck it with a knife or something.
We didn't want to hurt his door, and we're just sitting there waiting for him to
Don't
get
think
it.
it's gonna say ow.
And he opens, he opened the door and went straight to the mailbox. Opened the mailbox, and he's like, "You seen this?" He kind of took that last breath, like, "Okay, it's fine."
He died?
He turned around, went to walk back up the sidewalk, and seen it on his door. Man, he fucking flew back in the house, slammed, locked the door. And about that time, me and another buddy of ours, Jared, we start pounding on the front door and pounding on the back door at the same time.
No.
And we can just hear him screaming from his bedroom on the top floor. And we didn't stop. We were laughing our asses off as he's screaming from the top floor.
He opened the door with a shotgun.
That was
And
the
now
last
Lonnie-
we saw of him.
But yeah, it took him about a month to forgive us, but yeah, it was worth it.
God
You
damn.
guys should have, when he went to the mailbox, snuck into the house.
Yeah, put like
Oh no.
mud up the steps and stuff, and
That's how sadistic I
See,
am.
that's what's kind of scary about pranks nowadays is like people have, you don't know who's strapped with like a gun and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
But back in the day, like 20 plus years ago, like we were just kids having fun. We thought it was a great
that's
idea.
great.
We went through with it.
We should start a business to where people can hire us to scare their friend, like do elaborate scares and stuff like that to some of their friends. I bet you people would take advantage of that business. We can call it the Boundless Pod. Anyways,
scare.
yeah,
Pod
Boundless
fright?
Pods.
Pot fright.
Scares are us.
I had a few. I was actually just thinking about the stuff that I've
Oh, I'm
done.
sorry. Was Lonnie done?
Were you done? He looked at me.
Whatever.
All right. Well, swing it around.
John or Justin, you're doing one now?
Yeah.
All right, buckle in, boys.
No, so I was reminded of something that I didn't do. There was a guy named Tom Abe. Are you guys familiar with Tom Abe?
Should we be?
I believe so. He's a pretty popular pranker, more so on like the telemarketer end. That's where he got his start on.
No,
Is he a
because I'm
prank
in the,
anchor?
There was like this one where, because lately I've been getting telemarketer calls like up the ass, like 8 to 12 a day or so. It's like, oh my gosh. And they just use like masked numbers of like the local area. It's like, I know this isn't you. And it's like when they answer the phone, they're like, good morning, my name is Jonathan. And it's like, no, first off, it's not, but okay, no, I don't want to buy anything. My insurance is fine, whatever. But he used to prank telemarketers, and like one of the first ones I ever heard of him was some guy called and he's like, yeah, hello. And the guy's like, am I talking to Tom Abe? And he's like, yeah, you're actually calling a crime scene. Tom Abe was, unfortunately, he's not with us. And he's like, he was a raging homosexual. You wouldn't happen to be his gay lover would, and they're like, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about and all this. Like, he's trying to get off the phone, but Tom Mabe is trying to keep the guy on the phone. He's like, don't you think about, hanging up? Like, I know exactly where you guys are. I got authorities in the area. We're going to need you guys, to come in for questioning. And
wow.
like his,
that's awesome.
I guess improv on the phone is just, it's up there. It's yeah. But one of the things that I've done, I might edit this one out, but so towards the end of high school,
you have to tell a story. You know that, right?
I'm going to. John, put the gun down. That's on his head.
No, towards the end of the high school, my best friend and one of my good friends, the Reggie, they're both black. All right. And so we went to like this graduation party. They were the only two black people at this graduation birthday
could
party.
Have been left out.
Well, this is integral for the story. But
edit that out.
So they were the only two brothers of color over there. And I had this awesome idea with my friend Reggie, with my friend JJ, and I always kept
Did you mix them up because they look alike?
Not so much. One's bigger, one's taller. They're both bigger. So I took 2 pieces of paper, and there was like 2 water fountains in the back, and one of them I wrote whites only, and the other one black men and white women only, and put it on like the fountains. And Reggie, who was in on the joke, he looked over at the person who's hosting it, our friend Courtney, and he's like, Courtney, what the hell is this?
Yeah, this is definitely edited out.
Especially because he used real name.
and she's like,
my God.
She's like, what? Like she's so like a very soft spoken person, like very endearing. She's like, what happened? And he's like, what? I feel like I don't belong here. And she's like, what are you talking about? What happened? And he's like, that. Like he pointed to the back, and she looked back there, and she's like, oh my God, who did that?
Did you play it off like she did it?
No, we broke it to her. Oh. Reggie broke out of it. He's like, I'm just fucking we did that. So.
Oh man.
Man, I would have left it all night.
No kidding. Left. She still has it there.
She's like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is more of a prank for myself or a prank to somebody else. But when I was in high school, I had a lunch period that fell right before my drama class, and usually I used my lunch period to go hacky sack because I was a huge hacky sacker. So we couldn't find any. The security guard would follow us, everywhere. Like, get out of the hallway, get out from behind the bleachers, get out, whatever, and go to class.
Since we're cutting stuff anyway, by hacky sack, do you mean putting sack in your mouth?
No.
Whoa.
And hacking it up.
Sometimes I do that. If it falls on my face, I put it in my mouth.
Were you a master sacker?
I gurgle it, and then
it was in his Jinko jeans. Is that what they were called?
I even hung out with the goth kids.
I climbed
was too cool to play hacky sack.
I climbed too many fences to wear Jinkos, but I got snagged a few times hanging upside down on a fence. Anyways, so come drama time, we used to come drama time.
I like how John's quickly adapted to giving you a hard time.
So we would go.
It's the only reason I came on here.
Meet up in groups and like practice our little set or something that we're going to present to the rest of the group. And since I skipped my lunch, there was a Subway across from Benson over there, and we used to go out the back door that's connected to the drama room next to the stage, and that's where the drama teacher used to park his car. His office was just a few closets down, rooms I should say, down from the back of the dressing rooms and stuff, where he had the cameras face. Never mind. But we used to steal his keys and then steal his car and then, fill it up with gas and go to Subway and bring it back and then park it in the same spot. And it's like, he's probably getting to his car like, how the fuck do I have like so much gas?
So basically you're reverse pickpocketing.
I guess. I'm like, oh man, I fooled you. I
spent all my money.
Suck it.
How could he turn you guys in if you found out you're stealing his car?
Yeah.
You're giving him
part of
free
it.
gas.
Yeah.
Probably
You're an accomplice.
That is thank you notes in his car for you.
You should have like parked it like reverse though, or like one spot over. Just like
I don't know if we ever put the seat back or anything.
Sadistic. I want people to slowly break down mentally. So if I'm pranking them like yours,
Well, the thing is he was old enough, kind of going senile already. Like
so
there's been a few.
That makes it okay.
And he's a drama teacher, so his emotions are on level. Like they can go either or. But There was another time when I was in Germany. So
In Germany?
Germany?
Oh, Germany.
No.
Sorry.
Germany.
That wasn't a prank.
So you're talking an hour ago?
But yeah,
No, I was an hour ago. He was.
Okay.
in Deutschland, me, my buddy Dos Santos, it means of the saint, not two saints. Get it right.
Did any of us fucking ask?
Well, he was thinking it because he knows a little Spanish, and he was like, "Oh, two saints." Yeah. But
I know.
and then we had a motor sergeant supervisor guy, Sergeant Huff. They used to like. Well, I guess we all were kind of in on it. No, we used to prank each other's cars and stuff. So like our Sergeant Huff, like he had a sunroof, and we used to break into each other's cars and then like move it down the block or move it into the street when the German like trash people come to collect. They're like, we can't get by, your guys' car, and our sergeant would be like, what the fuck, Dos Santos and Lance and yeah,
Dos Equis?
Not so much. So there was another time where we had like a whole bunch of shredded paper that we had to get rid of. And since our sergeant, he had an open sunroof, we took like 4 or 5 bags of shredded paper and dumped it into his car.
He's such a bitch. I would be so annoyed. Oh my God.
It was a good time.
The only thing worse would have been if you dumped glitter. Like,
fuck.
I don't think he would have. Yeah, he would probably spanked us for that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, then in that case.
What was his name? Huff? What about you, John?
I'll start with other people's. I don't know how you guys feel about Impractical Jokers.
Love it.
Love that show. Super funny. One of the skits I've laughed. I mean, I laugh constantly at that show, but the one of the ones that made me laugh the most is when they're in like a Blimpie or a Subway, and they're making people sandwiches, and they're like, smash it down, and they're like slamming the bread down, and then they like drop an elbow on the sandwich.
Hulk Hoagie?
Yeah, the Hulk Hoagie.
I like that one when they have Joe just randomly shout out in that same one, this isn't real life.
You ever see the one where they throw the chicken tender at that guy? He gets so
I want to know who
threw this chicken.
Oh my God, that show.
Joe's the best on that show. He doesn't care. He's me.
He doesn't. He tones himself down. Yeah, I could see him definitely being you. He tones himself down because it would be unfair because he would not say no to anything.
No, he doesn't.
But he has to make it fair to the other guys.
Right. That's how you guys were with me. You get me to. I'm your Joe.
I know.
Basically,
I'd get you to get on the hood of your car and hiss at ongoing or people running the. So the apartments I lived in.
Say just sell it.
People. He would come over every Monday night to watch Monday Night Raw wrestling. And when he would leave, it's dark out. And there was like a trail nearby and people would be running kind of where the cars would park in the street. So I'd have him every time he'd leave, get on the hood of his car on all fours. And as people would run by, and I mean, they're within like 6 feet of him, he would just be like, and like hiss at them. And it's like, it was so funny to watch people because we were up on the porch watching and people are like, some people would cross the street just to get away from him. Oh.
So the one I want to bring up is, do you remember when Oakview Mall had the karaoke hut in the middle? Which
I think I do because I was with you many times.
Starbucks. Yeah. And those girls were there, and you're like, "Hey, go talk to those girls or whatever." And I went over and I was talking to these girls like normal or whatever, while somebody's doing their. So the karaoke hut. Let me explain that first. You go in and you could record your own song on a CD and then buy that CD
to a popular song.
Yeah, to a popular song. I mean, you had like a list of certain songs or whatever, but. So I'm talking to these girls or whatever, and then it's their turn to go in. And so they go in, and I just kind of mosey on in with it. And the guy's like, "Whoa, hold on, not you. And they're like, "Oh, no, he can come in. I'm like, "Oh, all right." And I look over because it's a window, so you can see out of the hut. And I just see the guy's like, "Oh, God, what the? He's going in there? Like, what the hell?"
I wasn't really surprised. I'm like, John.
I think I vaguely... Is that just like a 10 by 10 room?
It was a hut right where the Starbucks is now, or the
right.
Scooters or whatever, right in front of, because there used to be the fountain there.
Like a little soundproof.
By the elevator.
Yeah. Okay, I vaguely remember that.
Yep. And so what I didn't know, I didn't know two things. One, I didn't know their song choice. And I'll get to the second part that I didn't know in a second. But their song choice was No Scrubs by TLC. And I was like, the fuck am I going to do with No Scrubs? These are a bunch of females. So... the song starts going and the girls are singing and whatever. And I'm just their hype man in the background. I'm like, yeah, we don't want no scrubs. Yeah, hanging out your best friends, right? Just stuff like that. I look through the window and I see the guy's dying. I didn't know the guy turned the outside speakers on. And so the whole mall is basically hearing me hype up. I wish we bought that. We should have bought that
So
CD.
the girls were like, you know how girls are like, especially if you go to a karaoke bar, drunk girls, they just giggle and they're not singing. They're just like yelling.
Yeah.
That's what these girls are doing. They're just like, I don't want no scrubs. And then you hear John like, no scrubs. What the fuck? Oh,
so much fun. But we always were doing things in the mall. Like, the funny thing is we've done a bunch of stuff in the mall, and I've never been kicked out, but you guys always get kicked out when I'm not there.
Yeah, we would always we'd split up in groups of 2, and we'd see who could get kicked out the fastest by doing the stupidest thing. And I think Michael Samuelson and I won. Like, I think we literally walked in. At that point, I think the security guards knew who we were, and like, God damn these fuckers. Michael literally put his hands on my shoulders and jumped up and pushed off. And they're like, get out. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, okay, we win. But this isn't on my list. It just makes me think of something. And I don't think you know the full extent of this. I don't even know if you were there. But John and I's friend, Brian, in his mom's backyard, there was a shed. And they put carpet in it. They put couches, a TV, cable.
Yeah, we turned it into like a bachelor pad.
Yeah, they'd hang out in it all the time.
Space heater for the winter, everything.
So my good friend at the time, best friend at the time, Michael Samuelson, and I, like, we'd always hang out at my house. And I just lived down the street a little ways. It was about like maybe a 5-minute walk up to Brian's house. So we knew they'd be up there. So him and I snuck up there, and we wore the Scream robe, the black robe with the hood, and that one black hooded thing that has the mesh on the front, so you can see out, but people can't see in. I think back to that, I'm like, how the fuck did we not A, get shot, B, get arrested? Because we're walking at nighttime dressed in this stuff up there. What we did was we locked them in, and I don't think you were there that night.
I don't think so.
But we locked them in, and we had fart spray, and there was vents on it, and so we were just unloading fart spray in there. And then Michael jumped up on the top, and I don't think we ever did it, but you know how Walmart sells like those like 5-pound jars of Vlasic pickles?
Oh, Jesus.
When you guys were going to try to get out and stuff like that, I was going to take whatever it was we had in the door out, and then Michael was going to pour all the pickle juice on you guys. But yeah, I think we chickened out with the pickle thing. We thought that was too mean. But I also remember in junior high, this is before I met you, I convinced like 10 guys that I had a female porn star staying at my house. And I don't know why I did it, but it had been for like a week, and it was giving me attention.
You just got them looking at one of your sisters. That's all.
So I got to it, and I told, there was like, well, what's her name? And it threw me out. And I don't know if I watched Beetlejuice or A League of Their Own the night before. I was like, oh, her name's Gina Davis. And so at that time there was no Pornhub or like internet database on porn stars. So it's like they really couldn't look up to see if I was lying or not. But I just remember I kept going on telling stories. They were so enthralled by this and asking me questions, and I was just lying straight to my teeth. That's how I became a good liar, was with this.
I don't trust you.
Yeah. But they're just like, I was like, well, yeah, she leaves tomorrow. And then it's like, well, can we come over and see her? And I don't remember exactly how it went, but one of them caught me in a lie to where it made no sense. Jesus fucking Christ.
It's a little loud.
Not for me.
Well, but he caught me in a lie to where it made no sense that they couldn't come over. And I had told them that she was there. So the whole way we're walking to my house, I'm like, fuck, they're going to catch me in this lie. Perfect timing. My oldest sister, she didn't live at home at the time. It was a half a day at school. And I think that's why they caught me in the lie. Because I said that she was leaving at 3, because we would have been in school then. Right. But we had a half a day. I'm like, fuck. So we're going there, and I'm like, I don't know how to explain this and whatnot. Well, my sister had come to eat lunch there, and she was leaving right as we were like, the house is in sight.
Like,
so I was like, oh, there she is. And they're like, they start running and stuff like that. And she gets in her car, and I'm like, God, I really hope that she's gone by the time they get there. And sure enough, but they believed it was her. So
spikes came from the street when she.
Oh God, this is good.
I think you should tell the story about Paco in your phone call.
Yeah, I got a couple more. We'll do Paco then. So I used to work with this gay Mexican guy named Paco, if you haven't got that information from what we've said so far. And we had another cook in the kitchen named Tiffany. Tiffany, who was a little bit of an alcoholic, so I knew she was going to be drunk. So we called her. What time was that? Like 1:30 in the morning or something?
So she's a lesbian.
Yeah.
We were in Austin, Texas for a Nebraska-Texas Longhorn football game.
Yeah.
And it was the middle of the night, and we were in the hotel room. It was like midnight, 1 a.m., something like that.
I thought we were at the party where I shit in the bag.
Yeah, no. No. Oh, God, no. But yeah, so that's
You nasty.
We were, well, it was for a hot girl. That sounds
Wait, what?
Totally out.
You shit in the bag for a hot girl?
He did. He did.
So I just called her one night, and I pretended to be him, and apparently sounded exactly like him. I was like, "Hi, Tiffany. Like, how's it going? What you doing? I'm about to have some hot cock right now." So, like, that's a terrible impression.
No,
I gotta hear his voice real
That's
quick.
dead on.
For over the phone, it might sound good.
Dude, it was, what, 20-minute conversation?
Yeah, because you're just like, I'm about to get some hot cock. Are you going to get some pussy?
Are you gonna jump on the vagina tonight?
Basically, he sounds like Martin Short and Father of the Bride.
No, I haven't heard from him. He went to Mexico. Probably died.
Really?
No, he didn't die.
That's
He
sad.
might have, I don't know. With the bag and the poop.
This isn't really a prank. It's just a story.
I mean, kind of. Because we were at a party. There was a hot girl. Her ex-boyfriend was in the same complex. It's like, his car's right there. It's like, yeah, you should poop on it.
She said that?
Yeah. No, I go, you should poop on it. And she goes, man, I would love anyone to poop on that car. So I went and got a bag.
I was there, so I can vouch this story is 100%
Somebody also
true.
peed in a cup. Was it her?
Yeah, she peed in
She
a cup.
peed in the cup. So I'm holding her warm cup of piss and a grocery bag full of my turd.
It was, okay. So
there was a hole in the bag, and when he got down to the car.
This is probably the last time this ever happened to me. This girl was actually really into me, and she was putting the moves on me. So we were in the living room, and we knew the conversation about, like, John's like, you should poop on your car. And then we knew she peed in a cup. And then when she said, I wish anybody could do this, and John is like, I'll be right back. And I'm like, well, I know John, he's going to do this. Fucker comes out holding the pee in one hand and his Walmart plastic bag full of shit in the other. Now, when shit does not hit water, water like actually takes some of the smell away.
Yeah.
Fuck. Like,
what did you eat?
That
was
was
like baby food.
I'm just talking about it. I'm smelling it and I want to throw up.
PTSD.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ran all the way down to this guy's car and like poured the pee like all in the little
vents,
the little vent of the car, and then took the poop, like, you know, tried to fashion the bag into like a glove and smeared it all over his windshield.
And she's like, not that car, that car.
Meanwhile, all of us are on the porch watching this happen, and then all of a sudden we hear, "Hey!" and John snaps his head and takes off.
Dude, I took off. I got lost in that apartment for 45 minutes because I didn't know if he was chasing me or not.
Here's the thing. This is the fucked up thing on my part.
Was it you?
Fucked up thing.
This is the fucked up thing on my part. My concern wasn't John's safety. My concern was he was my fucking rock. I didn't know what to do if he didn't come back.
But thinking back, how'd that guy get that off? You can't just windshield wipe that.
But that's the thing too. After he couldn't find John, he got in his car and he just let the wipers go once, which probably smeared it all. And he drove off. Never to be seen ever again. A spike hit his tire.
Hit a red light.
His tires hit a red light.
He went through the shitty windshield.
Okay, the last one real quick is the greatest April Fool's prank I've ever pulled
Is this
in my life.
Is this your? Yeah, I know.
So I started it in January.
Fucking fooled me.
I fooled everyone. I randomly posted on Facebook that an ex of mine had come forward, and I now have a 5-year-old son. And so everybody was like, what the fuck? You know, like, what's happening, blah, blah, blah.
Wait, when did you do this, you said?
In January.
Just recently?
No, this was a few years ago.
Gotcha. I feel like I knew you then, did I?
Maybe. I'd have to figure out how long it is.
I feel like I didn't care.
So I told my parents, and I told my roommate at the time because I didn't want them freaking out, which actually helped because my mom was like, we'll get you a lawyer, we'll figure it out, blah, blah, blah. So this was going into February, March, April. People are sending me lawyers' information. They're asking, like, do we need to go beat this bitch up? You know, like stuff like this. They're like, who is it? And I'm like, she told me, I'm just trying like to be vague as possible because I didn't want to like single somebody out. That was the part I didn't have, was an actual person to kind of go along with it. But I was vague enough that people kind of had an idea of who it was, but like, I didn't know if they ever messaged these people or not. But yeah, they're like giving me lawyer information. They're asking me for like daily updates and all this stuff like that. And then in April Fool's, I was like, hey guys, by the way, people were fucking pissed. Like, we supported you, man. Our friend Rob found out 2 weeks beforehand.
I treated your son like a son of mine.
2 weeks beforehand, my friend Rob figured it out because I had favorited the Not the Father video from Maury. Because I was talking about how I was gonna go on Maury too. I remember that. I was like, dude, they sent me a letter and blah blah blah.
They sent you a letter.
People were pissed. Well, I sent them a letter and they said, "Come on back" or something like that.
Response.
Like I said, so I don't do April Fool's jokes anymore because people literally don't believe anything.
It's hard these days to do a prank because people get so offended and pissed off about it.
Or kill themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have any other, Lonnie?
Not after Justin's comment. We had to bring
One time I pulled a gun on somebody and shot him. Joke's on his family.
I just pulled my dick out that one time, and it's not my fault he put it in his mouth.
This one's not really. It was just a fun one. But when I lived, do you remember Sean Davis?
Yeah.
When I lived with him.
How could I? My first coast.
Yeah, that's right. Duh. Fuck. I just remember I bought like 300
impression of Sean Davis.
300 or 400 balloons, and he had to work all day, and I had the day off, and I started the night before, but I blew up like 300 to 400 12-inch latex balloons, and we filled his I had my buddy Matt Smith at the time, and that's his real name. It's not a generic name, Matt Smith.
Whatever.
We filled his bedroom from fucking floor to ceiling with balloons to where you couldn't even like really open the door to get in the room. And I have this on video somewhere because Matt and I somehow got in the room and we were in the balloons, and I have it recorded, but I thought that was a fun prank to do. I mean, I had like burn blisters on my fingers from tying balloons, and the static electricity in that apartment for like a week after was ridiculous.
I did that with my wife for like an anniversary. I just drove up to her work, filled her car with balloons, so she had to drive back with that.
Oh, I would have just popped him.
Ran a red light.
Hit the spike.
What the fuck? That kind of scared me that went with your hand. When I left Fairway grocery store, I put my 2 weeks in on my last day. I didn't know they did this, but they wrote in ketchup and mustard on my windshield, "We will miss you." And I was just like, yeah, that kind of sucks that they did that, but whatever. And I was just driving home with it on. Well, I had totally forgot that morning when I got there, it was raining. And so my windshield wipers were on, and it was on like the lowest setting, and I didn't turn it off. And so I'm driving home, I'm on the busiest street, and all of a sudden it goes, and my whole window just is smeared with ketchup. I couldn't see shit. And like, I'm turning the windshield wiper fluid on, wasn't doing anything. So I had to Jim carry that shit all the way home.
Looking like you just hit something.
Yeah.
I guess when I left California, moved back here, I
killed somebody.
No, I left my boss with a sympathy. Sorry for your loss card.
Because of you?
Yeah. Printed up a picture and put it in the frame. Left it on his desk.
He probably still has it.
That wouldn't doubt it.
Oh.
His girlfriend was the HR person, and he ran the fishing department that I was running as well. I was his assistant. And I asked her, I'm like, would he be pissed off if I did this? She's like, no. I'm like, okay. So I got like an the most ornate picture frame they had at the Dollar Tree. And then it got like a collared shirt and a tie, and like did one of these sideways over my shoulder. And it was just like
glamour
the sappiest, like, I'm so sorry for your loss. I hope you can live on from this moment.
What you just said right there just gave me an idea of something we should do. You know how at like Bass Pro Shop, they have that big tank in the middle that's got all the fish in it and it's open top? We should every day go there, and we should get a waterproof picture frame and have the same picture of Justin printed out, and just every day toss one in there and just see how long it takes before somebody realizes that their fish tank has like 70 pictures of Justin just on the bottom.
Justin's like, why my picture?
That seems
the
illegal.
most photogenic. Oh, that was that was fun. Reliving some old.
If you guys are really big on like pranks and stuff, one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. Have you seen Bad Trip yet, Eric Andre?
Not yet.
It is hilarious.
Joe,
he's not going to. Yeah, he's not going to be here next time.
Oh well,
something came up, and so
he really liked it. I know he just posted a review about it not too long ago. Thought I'd check it out.
Check it out.
Okay,
What's it? Check it out.
Netflix or something.
Netflix.
Hi.
Speaking of movies,
what is it, boy?
On Netflix.
So we're gonna get into our main topic here now, as we've God damn it, not that again.
Movies.
Sorry, I don't have to search. It's right there.
Son of a bitch, it's meant to be. So
right by Nightmare on Elm Street.
In 2017, we filmed a movie that I wrote and directed called Unemployed, which is a feature-length comedy film. Basically, the plot in a nutshell is kind of like Impractical Jokers, 4 lifelong friends. God damn you. You are no longer allowed to do sounds.
No more buttons.
But they've known each other their whole lives. They've been pretty lazy. They're now in their 30s.
Pretty lazy.
And they live in a 1-bedroom apartment together that they thought was being paid for, but it wasn't. And the guy that's the landlord is also like a mafia type person and tells them they owe him 15 years worth of back rent, and it's about $100,000. And they have 30 days to get him his money or else he's coming back to kill him. So now they got to do oddball jobs that pay a lot of money to...
How many days?
30 days.
30
days.
But so
much better.
we had Eric Green, Justin Milani, Jon Marshall, and
Joe Simmons.
But he wanted to go by something else, but we're just calling him Joe Simmons for this.
What do you want to go by?
I don't know. He wrote it on his release form, and he said that to me.
I forgot I put Jonathan T. Marshall until I saw it on the end credits. I was like, son of a bitch.
Well, I went by yours, but apparently I didn't go by his. But anyways, we filmed this back in 2017. It was released in 2018. It was a big hit the 2 nights that we had.
Oh, huge hit.
Both sellouts.
Yep.
Definitely, I would describe this as a very raunchy comedy movie.
Yeah.
I think.
Like late 90s type of comedy.
Very lampoony.
Definitely.
Lampoony.
You wouldn't be able to release something like that nowadays under like an actual distribution.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
The American Pie franchise might do them. They've done some pretty raunchy.
Back in the day.
No, they're
now,
lower.
yeah, no.
Broken Lizard is.
I mean,
they're another one.
So I just figured we could, since Justin, John, and I were part of this whole thing, Lonnie has seen the movie, so he can kind of give some outsider question. We can just kind of relive things. You know, anybody listening to this that's interested in seeing the movie, message the Boundless PodTrap page, and we can get you a copy to watch, DVD, Blu-ray. I guess, John, I'll start off by saying this. So, like, you know, this has actually been something that I was writing in my head for years. Mm-hmm. And it was actually going to start out as a sketch comedy show called
Didn't we film
Not
that?
to Blame.
Didn't we film a sketch?
We did with Justin, in it,
yeah.
and this other girl, and unfortunately that footage is
lost,
gone forever.
So we were going to do the sketch comedy show. And then one scene in particular, or one sketch in particular, I'm like, man, this would be like kind of like a good idea to like build around this. And there's actually the nursing home scene where the guys, and there will be spoilers with this, the guys read at a nursing home to the elderly people, and they're reading erotic love novels. So that's what this is based around. Writing this, you know, Justin was written as him. I mean, I embellished things. Obviously, Justin's
Very
not
much.
a cam guy.
Very much.
The character of John was written about John,
a chronic masturbator.
And then
I'm masturbating right now.
This is true.
Paul, the character of Paul, the lead character that Eric Green played, was around another guy that with Paul Albers is his name. He was in the first feature-length movie I did, The Shadow's Edge. And then Craig is based off a kind of a guy that I worked with. But I honestly didn't think that I had any intentions of having John have the part, because he had been in all my like short film. Him and Justin have been in pretty much everything I've done, but I just didn't know that he would be up for this lengthy, like this is a big.
That was a task, yeah.
And John assured me, he was like, man, I promise you, man, I'll do it. I'll do it. So it's like rolled the dice and very glad I did because he did amazing at it. And that was the thing with this. And I feel like it was a very loose set, and it was everybody's ideas were always well
on par.
We would take something. I mean, there might have been some things where it's like, that's probably a little too far. Let's maybe not do that. But
we probably only did that once or twice.
I think one of the things too that people started to do once we started getting going with filming was not tell people what they were about to do.
Oops.
Just to see if we could get people to crack.
Justin and I never do that in movies.
For
this
instance,
motherfucker's dick is hard.
And see, I get pissed at that because, like, fuck, if I would have known, I wouldn't. Because I'm the one that busts out laughing in the background and ruined the tape.
Camera shakes and.
But like John, one thing, he goes to the room to masturbate, and as he's going in there, he pulls his pants down, his underwear down, so his bare ass is out, and then he drops his porno magazines. And then the fucker decides that instead of like using his hand to shut the door, he uses his ass crack to shut the door.
One take.
One take. We all held it. We held it together.
I was so glad you guys held it.
Do you practice that?
No. You know how me and you are, though. Like,
very
anytime,
good
I don't
grasping.
even think you and I read a script sometimes.
I usually
we like
read
to
it in front of
ad-lib,
people.
especially if we're talking to each other. We like to ad-lib a little bit, and Jeremy goes with it because, I mean, we don't really let you down when it comes to that.
I don't. It's just like, I just try to tell myself, like, whatever they're about to say, I just need to be ready to bite my tongue and my cheeks really hard.
That's when like masks really help. That
Right?
way we can't.
Well,
see
we
each
had
other.
some in that raunchy ass apartment.
Jeez.
Yeah. So this apartment, it was actually a friend of Joe Simmons. And thank you to the guy. I won't say his name just because what we're probably about to say about his apartment. I wanted this place to look pretty like 4 guys have been living in it for 17 years. And I wanted to look shitty. And, when I described that, Joe's like, I know a guy. And so we went to check the place out. And I mean, the second he opened the door, like I went with Joe to check it out. The guy opened the door and like the whiff of cat piss and ammonia. I'm like, this is it. I didn't even have to look at the place. But
Turn it off. Turn it off.
It was so bad, like this, because he had a dog and apparently he had a cat, which I never saw, but
He had a cat. He had a fucking iguana. Like, I don't even know what he had. Fucking raccoons were living in there.
Animals.
But it smelled so
Seagulls
bad.
flying
And
out of the fucking bathroom.
the thing that people don't, I think, realize that don't make movies is that you can't have any sounds going on. So like, you can't have air conditioning running. You can't have fans
Not
going.
one day. That
You have
8-hour day.
You have to take
This is the middle of like July, a hot
July,
summer.
Yeah, so it's like you're turning off any airflow. The refrigerator has to be unplugged because you'll pick that shit up, and it when you switch angles, it'll be different pitches, different tones. You might hear it in this angle, but not in this one, and that's what fucks it up. So you have to turn the stuff off. So when it's the middle of summer, the apartment already smells like complete shit, and then you get lights that are hot. You get a crew, a cast of people, all their body heat. It's fucking miserable.
Some of them wearing monkey suits.
Yes, yeah, but
like suits, not like actual monkey, like a mascot.
Now I know why you guys agreed to do the naked parts because you just wanted to cool off.
That whole seat that day I'm talking about, that was when I came out naked, and I am so glad I was naked that whole time. I mean, his couch cushion probably didn't like that I was naked the whole time.
Stuck to his ass.
But dude, I swear to God, that fucking couch cushion came right up. It's like a river going right down my fucking back hair into the fucking couch cushion.
Oh
I think most of us on set knew not to touch that couch after a while.
Well,
and I felt bad for the guy who lived there too. I'm like, he doesn't know anything that happened in
yeah,
this.
his bed especially. Oh my God.
Does it smell like KY?
We didn't change out the
baby
sheets. We used his sheets, and I'm telling you what, there's 2 scenes in particular that we filmed in that bedroom on that bed, and it's like
it smells like open ass in here.
it was definitely an adventure. But yeah, the crew, it smelled so bad in that house that we would wear COVID style masks like we did, and
couldn't breathe. It was literally a toxic atmosphere.
it was. I think
points.
some of us are probably going to.
What was on the stove in that pot?
I don't know.
It was like hot dog water or something.
But that was the thing. Like the guy that had the apartment messaged me, because the deal was with this guy was we would get the apartment for a month. I paid his rent for a month, but the thing was I said we can go there whenever we want, and he was like, deal. That's all that was said. This guy comes to me like the 3rd week we were there, and he's just like, can I like wash my dishes and stuff like that? And I'm like, first of all, these dishes were here when we started. Second of all, nothing in our conversation or contract said that you couldn't wash your dishes.
We didn't even film in the kitchen.
We
Yeah,
only used
exactly.
one part at the refrigerator. That was it.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like same with his bathroom. I thought I've seen hair on sinks and drains, but
There's a beaver under the sink. That's what
there was something. But I mean, yeah, that was pretty. And a side story, and I'm sorry if I shouldn't be saying this, but I was told by Joe that soon after, like within the year, that guy was evicted because his apartment was in such bad shape that they went in to like change out the furnace filter, and they saw.
This is shock on my face.
Yeah, I can tell. But
it was sarcasm for our listeners.
There's like holes in the wall as I'm staring at a hole in the wall over there. But
well, that's the glory hole. But
yeah,
Lonnie, no, it was terrible.
I want to hear your voice. We're reminiscing over here. What's like?
Lonnie was not around at this time.
But he's
life.
What are some questions you have or things that you want to say about?
When did
this?
you recently watch it?
So me and Jeremy first met at wrestling when we were both working for Magnum Pro. And I'd say that was 2017-ish?
Yeah.
And then we both had a hiatus from wrestling. And then when we got back together for the first Now show.
I was there.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you guys made me
got roasted by.
You guys made me scrape spit off the ring.
No, he's talking about the Fremont show.
The Fremont show, yeah. But so I think that was my first foray with Unemployed. One of the questions I have is, it's like Jeremy mentioned, both of you guys have been in a lot of his movies, and me and you were talking a little bit earlier about it, how that you have worked other films, and Justin's worked other films as well.
Congratulations on the dating game.
Yeah.
Knocking that one down.
Yeah, knocking the dating game down should be out here anytime soon.
2021.
Yeah. Is that what that one's called?
Yeah.
That's where I played Trevor, allegedly.
Yeah,
Trevor added a movie to my IMDb
Trevor
page,
Wilson.
And I have no idea who the fuck it is. I know. And it's everyone has a professional picture except for me. And I'm like 5th on the list.
But how is that dynamic from working with other directors to working with Jeremy, who's a really good friend of yours? Like, are you able to take that working with the director dynamic you have from working with Jeremy, where you're able to give input and feel more part of the process, to another director where you're less familiar with them?
Be nice, boys, as I put $20 on the table in front of each.
Well, no, most of the other stuff I've been in is also a close friend like Jeremy is, our friend Rob. And his stuff is a lot of short films. I feel like anytime I do a movie for either of you, I have to be in 2 hours worth of makeup. But
it's because you don't complain.
Yeah, I just, my shower does afterwards. But
the blues don't come out.
No, the reds are worse. Like when I was the devil in these movies that we've done with Rob, they're super fun, and I am able to, like with Jeremy, throw in some improv. Rob's a little stricter with that than Jeremy is, but he is open to all the input first. Okay. And then he kind of tables it and, kind of discusses it. And he's like, will this work? Will it not work? I think he overthinks things a lot more. Jeremy trusts his actors more than other directors I've worked with, I've noticed, especially in that regards of the improv and input kind of thing. But I don't have a bad time with anyone I've worked with. So, I mean, it's always a blast every time I go, except for the 2-hour shower I have to take out.
How about
when
you?
I have to play 2 creatures because somebody doesn't show up?
4.
How about you over there?
I'd have to say mostly the same thing. One thing that I really have the utmost respect for Jeremy is like his pre-production, his planning stages. He goes above and beyond than most of the directors that I have worked with. Somebody who actually has a budget or who is actually going to pay the actors, because most of the local stuff I do is more volunteer, more for a credit, more for entertainment, sharpening my craft. Not that it ever gets sharpened. No.
You're making fun of yourself now?
Yeah. And then Spike. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, Jeremy, he gives lots of liberties towards their actors, depending on the comedies, for sure. He's going to let you have free range to an extent.
Right.
But if it has to be like serious or something needs to be this way, this is a primary shot that needs to happen. Like it's
going to be. Or a certain
be,
phrase or something has to be in there. Yeah.
Right.
And so if it's specific, I understand that. And being that he is a friend, and I feel like me and him kind of click on a lot of the same levels, that I can probably look at him and be like, all right, yeah, I know it needs to be done. I know how it needs to be done. So
like the next few scenes are based around this one moment, so it has to be there, but you can kind of build the tree around this set moment.
And he has more input than most directors, I would say, too, because there's been so many times on a set where you're just flailing in the wind, like,
Right.
I'm just going to do this. Okay. I've asked you for something and you're not necessarily giving me it, but we'll see how this goes. Good luck. Okay. But
Right. Well, and the reason I ask those questions is because I've myself entering the movie business has only been with the people at this table and other people. So I only know Jeremy's directorial style. I have another friend who's made movies, but his style was very lampoonish, very low budget, as in I have these 7 people. We're going to make a movie that's very, very low budget, very comical to a point where it's the more absurd, the better. Like, we're not trying to make a serious film. We're going to make a movie, and whatever you get, awesome. We're going to do 1 to 2 takes, and that's what we're going to get.
That works for a certain audience, but I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Now, Jeremy, to you, with working with friends as actors, opposed to working with other actors, do you feel like you can put more trust into people you know, opposed to other actors? And does that make it hard to actually direct when it comes to working with friends or people you know, when you have to put on the director's hat and say, okay, I didn't like it, let's do it like this, where you're afraid that when you do have to start being basically the asshole when it's not coming together, or in a film set where it might be getting too loose and too friendly and you have to pull it back into serious business?
So, I mean, it is, obviously it's easier to work with your friends because you know them. But I think one thing about me is I like working with new people too. And I think that's one thing that, and the things I say, I'm not saying I'm better than any other filmmaker here in the area or whatnot. Everybody has their own style.
Absolutely.
And when I say something, I'm not saying it in that.
And if everybody's the same, that would be boring anyway.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
But like, I think I've been known for bringing in new faces to some of the projects I do. Like, you know, with Shadow's Edge, I brought in a guy from London on a work visa. And it's just like nobody else had him, you know, in Unemployed, Eric Green. I hadn't seen him in many things around here, and to give him the lead, it's like, wow.
And I'm amazed at him.
Absolutely.
For being a stage actor, his film acting is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was such a trooper too.
Well, in some of the shorty films we've done, we've worked with stage actors who've made that switch. What they take from stage and put into film, it's different. They have difficulty going from stage to film.
And that's the thing people don't realize is stage acting is a lot different than film acting.
Right.
And it's hard to break stage actors in film. But if you're good at what you do, you should be able to explain to people your vision and what they want, no matter what. But for me, I don't know how I am portrayed in other people's eyes on set, but I always feel like
Hitler.
I always feel like I'm not doing my job to the fullest. Like, I always feel like I'm below every other filmmaker out there. I don't know if I seem that I'm nervous on set. I mean, a lot of times I'm not, but sometimes, like with shorty films, the One More Body and even The Last Goodbye, you know, there's a lot of people that I've never worked with before. And I was a fucking wreck with those. But once you get going, you start to get comfortable. But as I always said, I think with me, I always feel that I'm not good enough. And I don't know if that's what keeps the driving force behind me, but I didn't go to school for any of this. Anything that I learned, I taught myself through watching behind the scenes making of movies, or on DVDs, the extras, and YouTube videos. And I think sometimes, you know, I think part of what scarred me that way, and Justin and John can both account for this, is very first feature-length film I did, The Shadow's Edge, back in 2009. That was my first time really doing anything on that level. And the 2 cinematographers I had, I know one for sure went to film school. I'm pretty sure the other one did too.
I'm pretty sure both of them did.
I relied on them a lot. And I think it scarred me because it's like a lot of the input that I would give them would be said to me like, no, you can't do that. And
it's
just
bordered
like,
with textbook stuff.
Yeah,
it's like, well, go beyond that.
Yeah, it's like, this is why I would not want to waste money in film school, because everybody's taught the exact same thing. And if everybody's taught the same thing, you're going to get the same product. So it's like, I feel, and this might sound kind of like better than you, and again, it's not that way, but even though I don't have as many films out there, I do feel that my films are memorable to people. I mean, to this day, people still talk to me about Unemployed. I actually was talking to this girl on Facebook the other day, And we were talking about things I did, and I mentioned that I make movies. And she's like, well, can I watch them anywhere? I said, well, no, but I sent her the trailers, and she's like, I saw Unemployed. And I'm like, how the hell did you see Unemployed? She's just like, I don't know. She's like, a friend of mine had a DVD, and I looked at it, and she's like, I wanted to watch it. And she's like, I watched, and she's like, it's funny as fuck. And of course, she mentioned the whole webcam scene. That's everybody's favorite scene, but
that you wouldn't even show me until the theater.
Oh yeah, and for good reason. But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question or not, but I definitely enjoy working with friends. The next feature film I have planned, it's more of a serious movie, and I'm kind of being picky with who is going to get what role. Right. And it's like, I've been looking for a role for Jon in that movie, and I'm like,
I would love to be in it.
I just don't see any roles that he would play.
Gotta send him an audition tape.
Unless he wants to, I change the script up and it's not a girl in the one scene, Justin, it's a boy. Just kidding. You guys will get real close. Serious. No, but it's just that this one I feel like I have the characters really developed. And it's like, I didn't write the roles for anybody specific, but I have an idea in my head of like how I want the person to look and how I want them to act. And there's not really many guy parts in this movie. But I'm sure there'll probably be something for you in it, but anyways.
Well, you mentioned something when you were talking, and you're never happy with what you do. And I think that has some merit to it, that you're always striving for better. And with you guys as well, like when you're happy with what you're doing, you get complacent with what you're doing, and you always have to keep striving. And one of the things I love about Unemployed is you can see so much of yourselves in the characters, but there's also so much of this kind of grown personality, kind of like the best thing I can really explain it as is a wrestling bravado. This character that's so extraordinary, like bigger than life, that's like an extension of yourselves.
Jon masturbates a lot, yes.
But it wasn't 3 times a day. I had the day off.
I
was in Colorado for 5 days.
I tried to give you
shot myself in the face when I got home.
I tried to give you a high five when you came in the door.
And then we're still holding it.
It was like a tissue blowing in the wind.
When you haven't done it for several days, is it thicker?
Yeah, no, it's thinner at first. I think it's weird.
Yeah,
like the first time it comes out, but the second.
I swear to God, that we mentioned it earlier. Our trip to Austin, it went over my head. It was fucking. I got scared.
It's like a triple roper.
Yeah, it was like whoa. Last night when I got home, my neighbors know I masturbated.
Hey, you don't even get the front door closed. You're like, nah.
Were you like
just jerking off up the stairs?
Oh my God.
You already have porn loaded on your phone. You're like, gotta be this. No, but so Unemployed.
Well, that went way off the rails for a second.
That went way over my head.
Just like.
So did my semen. Anyway.
So Unemployed was the perfect movie, what it was supposed to be. It was gross. It was
It should have been there.
No. It was, and don't take any of these statements as an insult. They are not meant to be. It's just the way I'm going to explain it. It is a gross, juvenile, hilarious comedy. It is everything. When a girl calls you a boy instead of a man, this is the exact reason why they do it. And this is the things why you respect yourself for being called a boy. Like, this is the shit that makes you laugh. Like, it's like earlier when I was talking about the farting with attitude, and I literally have it pulled up on my laptop to show you when this is over. It's just stupid little things that you're gonna laugh at forever. See, like poop jokes, I'm gonna laugh at.
Don't bring up poop.
One of my rules that I had with this is like, I'm always open for suggestions, because who am I to say that my ideas are the best?
Right.
I mean, if somebody has an idea, let's roll with it. Right. I mean, it's not old school, it's digital. We're not wasting film.
Right.
Like, you're very good at that too. I know some people that are like, no, like, this
even
is
when
my
it's like,
idea.
it's obviously going to be better. It's like,
yeah.
It's not. You're probably saying no because you didn't think of it first.
Sometimes
you
I
know,
have to,
like,
with working with other people, I have to sneak it in there.
Right.
Right.
But I think
And then they have to. Like,
I think
have to do
some
that all the time.
directors,
It's the
some
only way I
directors out
get it
there,
done.
It's just because their name's attached to it, and
For
that's
sure.
like it's their movie, so it's like they want it to be their stuff. But to me, I don't look at it as mine. It's ours. We made it,
Right.
and if this is everybody's collaboration to it, I mean, there's so many things. Like if you look at the original script, like it's pretty on course with the movie, but everybody adds their little pizzazz to it, and it's like fuck. Like
yeah, it's not like we Edward Norton this thing.
Right.
Change the entire
but
script.
Well, when you surround yourself with creative, funny people,
exactly,
it's gonna create this casserole of humor.
Yeah,
Well-
everybody just feeds off each other too, so it just heightens.
That's the thing. Like before I get on to the other point, the point I was trying to make was a rule of mine is as long as it's not an inside joke, because that's one thing I think we should not do in a movie is an inside joke of something that makes us laugh, because it makes us laugh, but it's not going to make the viewer laugh because they don't
know what
get
it
it.
means,
So
right.
that's kind
That's
of
what the blooper reel
one
is
of,
for.
yeah.
At least not on the first movie. You're doing 2, then it can probably feed off of it. I mean,
Right. Yeah. Like the inside jokes, if it has to do with the first movie, yeah. But like if it's something in our personal lives, like, we
In
could,
that movie, nobody would have gotten a reference to me jerking off.
exactly.
The
Like,
baseball
yeah.
glove thing.
Yeah. But the other thing I was going to say, I totally forgot. Where were we going with that? We were talking about.
the heightening the humor, feeding off of each other.
Yeah. It'll come back to me. But
Speaking of coming on backs, the funniest person in that movie, hands down, and you guys are very funny people, but fucking Joe DeSanti in that movie.
and so Joe DeSanti's very talented. And
I work with him every day.
he's homosexual. And that's the thing too.
Is he
It's like,
really?
Is he really?
Like, wow, you guys. I mean, that's one thing about it is like,
he's not your screensaver.
I had him. He's not him in this movie. Like I had him turn it up to
No,
like 50
absolutely.
and add so much
Like
pizzazz,
an
and
exaggerated version of
Yeah.
himself.
Extremely.
But it's just like
exaggerated.
part of me is like, I hope that these people understand. I talked to him beforehand. I'm like, I'm not doing this to make fun of like homosexuals. It's the character.
Right.
It's going to really make this character better. And the same thing goes for Eric Green. Like he's a heavier guy. And there was a lot of references to
Fat
his
jokes and
weight
stuff, yeah.
and eating and stuff. But it's just like, I don't think he would do it if he was offended by it. But it's like, I'm not doing it to offend. Like, I feel like it's perfectly timed things.
Right.
Now, I do think that maybe in the fight scene, the 2 candy bar things were
Whoops.
might have been a little overdone, but
I think in everything for those, like in the height of his severity or like trying to figure out what he's going to do next, at Grandpa's or in the fight scene, it's like when food is in front of him, it's like, oh, okay.
fuck everything else that's going on in this world. I have my food here. I'm going to ask both of you this question.
It works because it was a running joke in the film, I think.
Right.
When you're talking about the candy bar and the fight scene.
What was your favorite scene to film in that movie? Like, what was the most fun for you?
I'll let you go
Being
first.
on screen or
Just your favorite scene altogether when we were filming this that stands out the most to you as like, that was a fun day.
for the day itself, the strip club scene, because everything was sort of perfect. Like it was all on time. It was our first time shooting. Like I think we were still grasping who our characters were at that time, and I think that paved the way for what it was going to be, because we had a good idea of what we were supposed to do, because we did some mock trailers ahead of time. But throwing that on is like, all right, well, this is me now. This is me.
Well, and that day, like, it wasn't my favorite day filming, but that was our first big full day, big scene that we were filming.
A legit location.
And we were supposed, to get the Spearmint Rhino was crazy. I thought that was going to be impossible, but
speech prepared and
I
everything.
had a
And he's
speech
like,
prepared.
yeah, go ahead.
I go to the guy and I'm just like, so yeah, we were going to film this movie. He's like, okay, yeah, what day? And I told him, and I'm like, how much? He's like, I'm not going to charge you. Just stay on this side, the BYOB side. Okay, fuck. But I just remember there
was like that too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Molly's Pub or whatever.
We were supposed to have a ton of males extras show up that day. Like I had like 20 guys say they were going to show up to be extras in that scene, and two showed up. And so it was just like, that kind of pissed me off, because I had the 4 of you main characters. We had the late Sean Wade, who passed away. He was a character. And then I had, actually it was 3 other guys show up that were extras. And I think one of them wasn't even going to be an extra, Michael.
Michael, yeah.
It was just that nobody showed up. And I'm like, well, fuck, this is supposed to be like a happen in place.
Mike was written into as a
Mike
special character for a lot of
running joke in that movie.
But like, I just remember people were asking me that day, like, how late do you think we'll be? I'm like,
I kept asking because I had to pick up my mom at the airport.
That was like 10 pages or so, 10 or 12 pages we had to film that day. And I'm like, I told people, I was like, well, I'm hoping we should be done by 5. And I remember I yelled cut. I looked at my phone and it was like 4:58. I'm like, get the fuck out. Cause I didn't look at my phone all day. And so that was a fun scene.
For that day, that was like one of my favorite days to shoot, but my favorite scene would have to be the webcam scene. God. It's like, it was just so stupid funny. Like, we just kept going further and further.
I think a long day.
Much of that was written in, but we just kept on adding more to it. More KY, more utensils.
That kind of spiraled downhill ideas. And the fact that we had to throw that in my face like 18 times. Like, we tried you throwing it, I throwing it. Like,
so he's talking about, it's a webcam scene. Paul, the main character, his grandma, he got the idea to test sex toys.
It was Craig's grandma.
Yes, Craig's grandma. And she said that you could always test sex toys. Sometimes they pay up to like $5,000. And so he does it, and he gets this little bullet vibrator. And what I added to it was that it was Bluetooth, the first Bluetooth vibrator that you sync up to your listening device. And if it's like a harder song, it's a little bit more intense. If it's a soft song, it's softer and stuff. Well, he's reading the instructions and it says insert it. So he inserts it into his butthole. Well, then he realizes that anal cavity. He realizes the next one has a warning that says before inserting, make sure the safety string's attached. Well, he didn't attach it, and it says, seek medical. If you do this, you're going to have to seek medical
His butt
help.
was just like,
and they're trying to make money, so he can't have a hospital bill. So he goes running in the room, and Justin's a webcam person. Long story short, Justin was doing a marathon. He left to go get more baby oil, so the camera was still on. John walks in the room, and he has to help Paul's character try to fish out this device. And they're doing it unbeknownst to themselves at first on the webcam. And then they start making a bunch of money, and they really get into it. Well, the end of that scene is Justin walks in on him, and that startles Paul enough that he lets a fart out, and a poop-filled
toy sentences you didn't
hits John right in his forehead. Well, what John's talking about is God bless Eric. His ass was out this whole time, and God bless John, because he was inches away from his ass. And so I'm trying to flick this device up by his butthole
from the small of his back.
So we tried it probably 20 times, and John
was 19. I counted.
John was actually the final one to get it down to where he.
I basically had to throw it at myself from that angle.
I don't know what.
And it was covered with chocolate.
Yeah,
and stuff,
it's peanut butter. Yeah, peanut butter and chocolate. I think
it was chocolate.
It was just chocolate.
It was a melted chocolate.
Yeah, and it kept getting more melted as we went.
Well, there's
hot as balls in there.
There's a
poop,
not a blooper, but a
slip up.
Yeah, John before it farts and hits him, he's got chocolate on his face already from one of the previous times. We didn't wipe it off, so it's like he already had poop on his face.
Well, he wiped his face a few times. I'm like, he had the gloves on, and he,
So that was not your favorite scene, John?
It was fun, but
the payoff was definitely better.
Yeah, because you guys didn't show us anything. I saw a sneak peek when it was halfway done, but you wouldn't show me and Eric the scene. And I was so nervous because that was so much work put into it, and I felt so good about it that I was just like, I need to know if this is good. I need to know if this is good. And you're like, no, we're going to show it.
You're not going to be disappointed.
And I'm like, oh God, at the time my girlfriend was there and all my best friends and my parents were there. It's like, by the way, sorry, Mom and Dad, you had to see my ass close a door. And my boss, but it was way better than I could have thought it came out.
We had 2 premieres at the theater, and they were both sold out. And it was the bigger theater.
On 2 Wednesdays, yeah.
And people were I will admit, the opening speed dating scene, people had chuckles. And I just remember the first night, some of the things that I thought people would laugh at, and they weren't really laughing. I know Logan was sitting next to me, and I looked at him like, this is not good. But once it got to past that speed dating scene, it was just roaring laughter. And that was I can honestly say this is probably one of the first opening night was probably one of the best memories I have in my life, because that whole webcam scene, people were just eating everything up, laughing at it. And that last part with the and it hit you in the face. Just the laughter from that, the loud laughter. And then when you picked it up and it showed the poop and you're dry heaving and everyone's like, oh, like I just remember sitting in that theater and I just felt like everything was just around me. And
Device,
like, I was just like, this life cannot get any better than this. Like this, all the stress, everything, all the hard work that's put in it, time, it was worth it for just that one moment.
That's what I said. People could have not laughed at anything in that whole movie except for that scene, and I would have loved it every second. They laughed at the whole movie. They were laughing.
So what was your favorite?
It was like some of the small things that we slipped in there, like audio wise. Like for your masturbation thing, I was like, put in like a little toy, like, and it was like the twist it.
And that was the thing. Like Logan sat next to me, and like I knew that was coming because when we were editing, I was laughing so hard I was crying every time that happened because it's so random. And in the theater when that came on, he's like going through his masturbation tote, and then all of a sudden it's just like twist it. I grabbed onto Logan because I was the only one in the theater laughing at it.
I was there.
But
I don't know if I have like a favorite day now that I can answer if someone shut up. Ooh, I'm just kidding.
Jeez.
I just like certain things, like not to criticize your writing because you probably were writing long hours some days, but that first scene when we're playing video games right before Freddy gets there, you had the word jizz probably 12 times.
Right.
And I was like, nobody says jizz anymore. And so Eric and I turned it into, we didn't even tell each other what we were going to say. We just tried to come
different.
up with a different way to say jizz both times, like baby gravy, and stuff like that.
To pull your pud.
Man mud.
Yeah. I had fun like with just stuff like that. And anything in the living room was fun to me, except for the day where we were supposed to film something, but then we went and you could kind of see it.
Oh yeah.
In the production. There's like,
that was the worst.
We were kind of off that
Everything
day.
was
like,
off.
Well, yeah, we didn't learn our lines for that scene.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be with Squiggy, but he had the stomach flu. So I was like, well, fuck, we're all here. We
just move it.
We have to be out of here.
Both of those.
I felt bad for Joe because that was Joe's big part too.
Yeah.
So it was just like the only other scene that we had left in the apartment was this other one, and it was just Lonnie. We were so off that day. Like I just could feel it. Like I'm like, this is not good. There was no laughing, but there really wasn't jokes for that part. That scene was kind of the more.
What was that scene? I can't even.
It was after.
That was the apology. The everybody coming back before Squiggy came in. I thought.
No, I thought that was when I was eating a turkey sandwich and stuff. No, was that not that one? Either?
It was when it was the scene after he gets beat up. And you guys are sitting there because you have that.
That's when Joe comes in with the list
to go to the nursing home to read to the old people, because you're depressed because you just found out that the stripper that you grinds on you all the time was your long lost sister. Paul was depressed because he got beat up and didn't get the $10,000, and Justin was just depressed because he found out about all that. So that was just a very off day. And
that was like the only day though. The only day that I could think of that it was.
But do you think any of that added to that moment? Hey.
Do you think or you?
I don't think so. Only because when you watch it back, you can just see it.
You can just see disappointment.
There's like not a lot.
Because you guys didn't know that. You had no idea that was what you were recording that day. Because it was last minute.
Totally into the characters that we were gonna, or like our reactions and emotions and stuff that we were going to do for that specific scene. And then to go into this scene, we're like, oh shit. Like,
I think luckily for most of us, we all had like change of clothes, but
I always brought a change of clothes just in case.
You guys had like an hour or so to memorize that scene's lines.
We even had the script on the floor for some of them.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, there was one line, I can't even remember. When I go back and watch, I'll tell you exactly what the line is, but I couldn't remember fucking life of me. I kept looking at Justin like,
you got kicked off of the whatever.
Yeah. Like it was, just like, I'm totally not ready for this. And it was only like, we only filmed like an hour that number. But
yeah. Well, that's all we could. Like, it was supposed to be a longer time, but
I had fun that whole time except for that.
Yeah. I don't think that there was ever a day where I was like stressed out. Like, even the bigger scenes, it was just like, we were there, we were having fun, everything was going smoothly. And the worst thing is when you have people there that are an extra, or even if they're a main character, that has lines, but they're not until the later part of the scene, and they're there sitting, waiting. You look at them and you can tell that they're annoyed that they're there. They're annoyed that they have to sit and wait because, you know, as much as you want to be on schedule with things, sometimes it doesn't happen.
Right.
Especially in horror movies,
That's the rough
because
thing.
when you have makeup that you have to do, you could say, yeah, you have an hour, but I'm not going to rush a makeup artist if they're not done in an hour.
Or
Resetting
when
a
the main
scene
character
and-
can't remember his
And so
lines.
that's the only time. That's the only time when it really kind of irritates me, because it's just like I feel like then I have to like really hurry because I feel like I have to cater to them. And I'm not saying that happens often, but you know, and I feel like for the most part I'm on schedule with things, but
There's been sometimes too where you just film that person's part so they can go.
yeah, and that could be a downfall on my part, is I try to cater to people, and as Justin was saying before, pre-production, I try to plan everything out so people know exactly what they're doing. And I can take a look at this scene and be like, okay, we're filming 5 pages today. Depending on if it's just dialogue or if there's a lot of action, I'm like, 5 pages, this will probably be about 3 hours. So I'm going to say 4 hours just to give us an extra hour. So if we do film for only 3 hours, I look like I'm good because I said we'd be done at 4 and we got done at 3. But I don't know, to me, that's the most stressful part of the movie, is planning the pre-production. I love doing it, but it's stressful. And then when you get people the thing is I don't really pay people for the most part. And so I could tell them when I meet with them, and it's like, well, I would like to give you the part, but you have to give me your time. Like, I can't have you be like, no, I can't do this. You have to work around my schedule. And a lot of people will say, yeah, that's fine. But then it's like we start going, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I can't be there this day. I can't do this day. And so now I have to plan around their schedule.
That's why I've had to play multiple characters sometimes.
Right. So
that, and like when people bring their outside issues, I guess, on set, it's like, come on, man, like we're here for a job.
What's like the funniest moment you can remember on set?
Of unemployed?
On set?
Yeah.
I think we always had the go-to Jim Blossom song.
Yeah, that was
about you.
bus stop. Whispers at the bus stop.
Then we just
I started singing that one day, and it became the unofficial song of that movie. But I don't remember hearing it that day. Like, I keep telling them, like, maybe I drove by somebody that had it, like,
I felt
playing in their car. Or
I want to say
was at
I
the
heard it a
gas
few
station
times
or
coming
something.
to set a few times, especially going to
both
the
of us
apartment.
I remember Joe would whistle it. And it's just like, this is weird to say, but it's like he has the most beautiful whistle I've ever heard. And
Shapes all around.
I even told him that. I'm like, dude, you have a beautiful whistle. I don't.
You have a beautiful whistle.
But
It's got to beautifully contour the mouth.
yeah.
Oh my.
Again, if anybody wants to see this movie, what's up?
Message the Boundless PodTrap page and let us know. It isn't free. It's probably, I don't know. We figured out prices if it's like $5 for a DVD or whatnot.
I believe it was like either $8 to $12 depending on DVD or Blu-ray. We're still trying to obtain possible footage because some of the footage that we do have is only partial. The cinematographer, the main cinematographer, still has or should have the raw footage that we're trying to make into a blooper reel. If you want just the movie itself, it's ready for you. But if you want the blooper reel, it's going to be a 2-discer. So that will take some time, and there's not a deadline as far as when that will be complete because we have to pretty much start from scratch.
Yeah. So if you want I think I might have like a couple copies from the first batch on DVD. Those would be just $5 at this point for those because there's no special features on it. That is one thing I want to say about this song or this movie too, is there's a music montage scene where the boys start getting on par
I was
with
going to say
things.
that was one of my fun days filming.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what we were going to film. We were just kind of with it.
Right. We just filmed random stuff.
Right.
But I always envisioned the song The Touch by Stan Bush. That was popular in the cartoon Transformer movies in the 80s. It's like, you got the touch. And so I went out of my way to contact Stan Bush to get permission. And I mean, there's a story behind that. Like when I first I'm always honest with people. I'm like, there's no budget to this movie. The budget's out of my pocket. I have empty pockets. And I'm willing to put a lot of money into projects I do, whether it's wrestling or movies or whatnot. And I probably shouldn't, but I love doing it. But he named a price, and I'm like, whoo. I just said, I don't think we're so far out of the ballpark, I can't even see it. And he's like, well, no. He's just like, that's what I would charge like a studio to do it. But he's like, for you, he's just like, how about this? And it was still a little more than I wanted to, but Eric Green was very generous to help give a little of that money, or a lot of the money, to him. So it made me happy to use that song "The Touch" by Stan Bush. So people that hear that, I think some people think, oh, you're using that illegally. It's like, no, we paid for the rights to that.
It's credited.
Then the end credits song, that
different story.
That was the thing about Joe Simmons, is he was like he had the network. Like, he was like, anytime you do something, like, he'd put a poster on the wall. I was like, did you contact that place? Because there was a Michael Boughton poster on the wall, because it was a Michael Bolton poster that I found at a thrift shop, and we had it on the wall, and he's like, I think that maybe Michael Bolton could probably sue for that. And in my head, I'm like, no, he's not going to. But then it's just like, the more he kept going on with, I'm like, fuck, maybe Joe's right. So we ended up taking a marker and changing it to Michael Boughton. So masturbating?
No, from your movies.
No. But no, those were good times. I actually met up with the cinematographer of that movie the other night, and we were talking and brought up Unemployed. And I had started, because a lot of people are telling me that I need to do Unemployed too, but my problem with that is I don't want to be that person where it's just like, I'm just known for Unemployed 2, Unemployed 3, Unemployed 4. Like, I want to do other things. And yeah, we've shot some short films since then, and I plan on shooting Colden, that feature-length film, first. But I started writing Unemployed 2, which is like, I think the name's going to be like W2 or something like that. I have the opening scenes written, but I was talking to...
Good job.
Get the fuck out of here. But he was talking, and he had said that,
See you later.
He would love to be an executive producer to it. He doesn't want to touch a camera or anything. And I said, that's fine, because it's like I have cinematographers. But he said he wants to be on set to add some things and whatnot. But he would also I had said, I'd like to get a writers group together and meet. And it's like, I'll read the first part that I have, and then we can critique it scene after scene. And then we can just bounce ideas around. And once we get enough ideas, then I'll piece everything together. My plan is in addition to all these short films for Shorty Films, the next feature-length film will be Colden that we do. And then the next feature-length after that will be Unemployed 2. At this point. But I'm like Rob Zombie, where I have an idea and I talk about it, and then it gets pushed back.
Whatever's the most fleshed out.
It's whatever comes together first, and you have the resources to do it, which is why it takes me so long to do movies. I've been doing this for 14 years or something like that. 13, 14 years. I only have 2 feature-length films to my credit and like a small handful of short films. But as I said before, I feel like they have pizzazz to them. There's just something a little bit different.
Yeah, they got substance.
Yeah, they got me and Justin.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
John, do you have anything you want to
This is your episode, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really, fun.
We'll have to have you back every now and then.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to just catch up on things. I mean, because we haven't even touched things that we've done in the 23 years.
Get into
That's what you'd think, me.
The
We've
Shadow's
been touching
Edge.
the whole time.
We could definitely do the Shadow's Edge.
We should do a Shadow's Edge one.
That'll be
that's a different experience.
That definitely
I don't-
was.
Different group of stories.
That's the only time on set on the Shadow's Edge where I've ever yelled and raised my voice.
Well, maybe because I'm an idiot.
I don't. And I don't mean to start infighting, fellas. I think I like Shadow's Edge better than
I was going to
Unemployed.
mention that because I remember I asked you once you saw both of them, and you said you like Shadow's Edge better, and I was shocked.
I love the trailer.
I just
and
think,
the poster. I'm the poster too.
and it's like I said,
was improv
it's
too.
a very different kind of comedy than I choose to listen or choose to.
He
choose
didn't
to
even
take in.
watch it. He just listened to it.
That's why.
But Shadow's Edge to me, with a little tweaks here and there, I think it's big budget quality. I really
big
did like
budgets
shit.
have taken the story hung
Token.
hanging.
Hug, hug.
Token.
I think that
Idiot.
with little tweaks, Clown House could have really been
House of
something.
Clowns.
House of Clowns really
That's
could have
what
been
it's officially
something
called
big.
now.
If you want to watch it, it's what, $50?
Yeah,
you can get your own copy of Clown
Well, you
House.
can get the original when it was called The Shadow's Edge on DVD for $50 on Amazon. I didn't set that price.
Let's see what it is now.
That's not autographed.
I'll autograph it.
Yeah.
Bring it to
very,
me.
very devalued.
$51.
I played 2 characters.
Well, here's the
in
thing
that
with Shadow's Edge.
Don't sell the rights.
and I'm on the poster. I'll sign that.
That movie was supposed to be way more gorier and graphic than it was, but due to somebody lying about their abilities and didn't really test things out, a lot of the effects had to be scrapped because they didn't look real at all.
We should say this.
I said-
we need to do
Yeah,
an
we
episode on
will.
this. I want to be.
That's
back
the
for that.
teaser.
2 hours
Are you still looking for it?
with a
Lonnie?
mold on me.
Teaser.
They must have sold them all.
Yeah, I'm just
I
seeing,
want to tell you how much
I'm
time I spent in makeup. I was trying to find the
seeing
pictures.
a bunch of books.
2 fucking killers. One's a clown.
I almost got killed. Do you do that?
I've always said it would be kind of fun to
I can't watch that movie.
redo
anymore.
The Shadow's Edge now.
Absolutely.
With all the knowledge I have now and experience and the
I mentioned that to, I think, Brian.
Can I get a hell yeah? That would be
Sorry.
scrapped. That was the dumbest thing ever.
I don't know why you. Sometimes I don't know why you keep that.
One thing, I do want to shit on one of your jokes in Unemployed.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you on set, but I was like, this is going to fall flat. It's not funny. It's not funny. The grandma of douche joke. No one laughed at that.
I don't think it was supposed to be.
It
funny.
wasn't really.
I don't know. I
It
was
was-
like, ugh. Every time it came out, I was like, ugh.
Because I think it was the falling flat, which was the joke. Because Squiggy didn't get it. He's like, oh, that doesn't have the same. weight."
Maybe I can see it.
It was
that
just
way,
more
but-
so that it was like that's what Squiggy was fixated on, was he wanted him to say grandma of douche, and or Paul sidestepped it and he's like, no, it's just like that to me was what it was. But
I don't know.
They
If it was
can't
on
all-
TBS, that'd be cut out.
they can't all be, if it was on TBS, everything would be cut out.
It'd be a 10-minute film.
You
It'd be like,
couldn't
hello, this
do
is
the
Unemployed.
speed dating scene. You couldn't do the opening scene.
Didn't do the webcam scene.
I think the only scene you could do is him at Grandpa's.
You can show
Even
the
then.
setting of everything, like the outside building of the homeless. Yeah, the homeless.
That was the thing too that cracked. You weren't there for this part, but post-production when we were editing, it was Justin, Logan, and I. Oh my God. We were laughing so hard. Like just the things like adding sounds like that scene with at Grandpa's house. Like I just said, I want to have that part from that intervention where the guy's like, does that cry. So we had that. And then for whatever reason, we were talking about that. I was like, do you remember that Aaron Neville, like cotton commercial? The touch, the feel, the fabric. And then Logan decided to, when he was at home, do his own commercial about chronic anal itch and whatnot. But you're not finding it?
It's not on there anymore. They must all sold out.
There's
There's a
in
movie.
your,
I didn't get any of those royalties.
There's a movie called Clown House.
Yeah, I have that movie.
But yeah, it's only $9.82.
What's the one we did for the silly stories too?
Junior.
Junior.
Junior, yeah.
Remember when we played that one? Because that was down in Lincoln, right? That we
Yes,
played that.
that's the Yo-Yo.
And the guy at the end, when Justin put on the
Yes.
gloves,
That
he's the one guy.
He's like, he's still got the fucking gloves.
He's like, the fucking gloves.
That was the best part of that.
Yeah,
Because
that's what I think about every time I think of like fan reactions to your video
I
or your movies.
feel like with that Junior. So Junior was
I love Junior.
It was a compilation DVD called Silly Scaries 2. We talked about this with Dustin Ferguson when we had him on the podcast almost 20 episodes ago.
Anthology of 4
But yeah,
shorts
four
around
short-
one.
Yeah, there were horror comedy ones. And I was the last to be asked to do it. And I had less than 2 weeks to write something, film it, edit it, and get it in. And the thing is like a lot of people said that they loved that one. Like that was...
It was
one
more
of their
professional than the rest, for sure.
Yeah,
But-
it definitely had more of a professional look to it.
But like, I don't think the audience was ready for something like that because it had
It
some
was
of
a
that.
shift.
It had some of
from
that.
the other
Yeah,
ones.
it had that edgy.
Like it was
stuff
real
in it.
and then
And-
it
This
pulled it back
motherfucker's
again.
dick is whore.
Yes, and the fact that we had just, I
played
purposely threw in 2 random girls like rubbing up on each other because that's what horror
why
movies
not?
are. And I was just like, I don't think the audience really, because there wasn't much reaction, like laughing. Because I don't think with what they saw beforehand and then what they saw with that, they're just like, what the fuck is this?
They're looking around like, should we be watching
Yeah.
this? Type of,
So
I didn't see the rating on it.
I don't know. I just remember that night. People coming up to me afterwards like, that was really good. But I think deep down they're just like, what the fuck did we just watch?
That was a lot of Justin and I improv on that one. We were trying to make everybody in the room laugh, basically.
I think people, what really did it for people, where there's like, why are we watching this? Was when you are dying, you're like, Justin, I love you, man. And he's like, he sucks on your finger all sexually. And it's like the fact that you guys are like bickering like a married couple the whole time. And then you're dying and he's getting turned on by you touching his face and he sucks on your finger. I think put yourself in the audience's shoes.
Well, I didn't know that was going to happen either. I just went with it.
They're like, why the fuck is he giving his finger a blowjob right now?
This motherfucker's dick is hard line. We knew we were going to say it, and we only told Guy because he was the camera guy.
Right.
But you didn't tell the fucking guy holding the boom mic.
Because I wanted the camera to be steady. But
well, and then there was a scene like that in Unemployed, which I still don't understand why the fuck we left it in there. But Justin's like this like masculine guy the whole movie, and he makes fun of all the other guys and stuff like that. And then there's a scene after they all apologize to each other. Fucking Justin and Eric's character, like they're just like playfully shoving each other, and then they like caress each other's face, and they go in for a kiss, and like right as their lips are about to touch.
Well, I did touch his lips a few times. We did that like 2 or 3 times, and I felt his beard on my lips.
And we left it in.
I don't know why either.
And I think that was another part in the movie. Like the whole movie, people were like, ah, and then that part, they're just like, huh? Yeah. Like we
then
just
he tried to do it to me, and I was just like, nope.
That's what I think might have been the saving grace, because that first one where you guys were almost kissing was the setup to him pie facing, which was something John added. So, but yeah, I think the audience was just like, okay, I can deal with the guy digging the other guy's butthole.
The kiss is too fucking far. Yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
Man.
Does Lonnie have any other questions for us?
No, guys, I'm good.
Jesus, fuck. You have a mic in your throat.
Let it out.
All right. Well, John, thank you again for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Guys,
I really love it.
Happy 25th episode and anniversary, our year anniversary. Again, like us on Facebook, the Boundless PodTrap. You can find us easily on Spotify. What are all the places, John?
Everything.
Justin?
Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, Google Cast. Go to
something with an I in it.
Linktree. Linktree/Boundless PodTrap, and you can find all of the sites, including the Discord and Facebook. And although there's not too much activity on the Discord as of lately, but
you can buy all our shit on Zazzle.
This is
That's
true.
Lonnie's part. So yeah, tell people, get the word, spread the word on us. We're a year old. We're trying to gain more listeners. We can only do that with your help. And don't forget, next Monday, join us for our BPT movie review, where we will be doing the 2005 movie Killzone, which was Justin's pick. So
yes, sir.
For those of you that don't want to watch the movie and just want the audio version of it, tune into that episode. All right, so
I'm gonna go home and watch A New Nightmare.
Oh fuck!
Not A New Nightmare. The remake.
Nightmare, yeah, A Nightmare for him.
Thank you, John, for stopping by. Again, if you guys didn't catch the Terminal Movie Podcast, John does an awesome Facebook trivia thing, Marshall Madness. Search it out, or check the comments of this podcast below.
And he's going to go home and shoot another big load.
Over
at least.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Join us next time for more absurdity that only the guys from the Boundless PodTrap can bring you.